We're live? I think we're live. Testing. Testing, testing, testing. Hello. Hello. Okay, I just got a notification I'm live on my channel. Yeah. Hey. Hello. Hey, hi. Oh, I'm not, hang on. And, actually log into Discord and make the announcement. Everyone. Spicy one tonight, gang. Hi, I'm Brian. Welcome. It is Thursday, November 13 at 9:16 p.m. You are, of course, watching the most radical stream on the internet. Umbreon is doing his best to jump around and commit political violence against me right now, which is very, very cute. I see those little. You guys are tapping the little live, whatever. I don't know what those are called. I guess they're reactions. I love that. Love when you guys tap those. It's very fancy, very cute, very sweet. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, we got a juicy topic tonight. So this was inspired specifically because Sarah, the Raging Tomato, who we all know and love. Duck says I was trying to be stealth. Oh, that's you. Sarah is hosting a Thread on Thursday tonight. Give me just a second. I'll pull it up. But the topic is specifically that political violence is coming almost exclusively from the left. And I've noticed this topic has been coming up just over and over and over. Oh, that's the wrong. This topic has been coming up over and over and over again. Here they are. It's a little bit better. Echo chamber panel. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's gonna be up until for the first hour at least, but we're gonna watch it from our end, and pass judgment as we do. I did a bunch of research before this, so I have a pretty good idea about what the narrative is regarding this. I didn't really watch. So one of the things that one of the reasons I decided to do like a whole stream about this specifically is because this has been coming up a lot, right? So Modern Day Debate did just a day ago. Is the left more violent than the right? With tomfoolery, counterpoints, and other people. Jubilee did one 3 weeks ago. Left versus right, which side commits more political violence? Modern Day Debate did another one 2 weeks ago. Is the left more violent than the right? There was they did it twice. Obviously we got Tim Pool talking about, maybe he's reacting to the Jubilee one. There's a month ago Jake Rattlesnake versus Brenton Langle. So again, a lot of Modern Day Debate talking about this. It was talked about in this town hall with Adam Mockler. There's several others as well. They're not all just Modern Day Debate and Jubilee. I think there was one on and off on a separate platform. Let's see. That Andrew Wilson was on with Soypill. Right here. Left versus right, which side is more responsible? Talking about political violence. So it is a prescient topic right now, right? It is in the zeitgeist, as it were. So that's the topic, yeah. So Dragon Fist Martial Arts, who I don't really. I don't know. Have I talked to this guy before? I'm sure he's been on panels with me before. I don't know that much about him, but he's arguing that political violence is coming almost exclusively from the left. So we're gonna watch this, and as it goes, we're gonna watch it live and hear his case out. But I suspect that he's going to leave out quite a few examples. Josh says, Ryan, if you limit the date window to just the day Kirk was deleted, then the left probably does 100% more violence. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Josh, because, funny might be the wrong word, but even if we did exactly that, we would have to include the 16-year-old at Evergreen, who the school shooting, who was radicalized by neo-Nazis online. So even if we just isolate it to that single day, I don't think that it would be appropriate to say. Like literally that same day, within hours, there was a neo-Nazi inspired school shooting. The exact same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Dragon Cat. Is he missing a tooth too? My brother in arms. But do me a favor, guys. Like the stream. Give me those likes. Give me the likes. I demand your likes immediately. Or else you don't want to find out what I'll do. You're so right, LMFAO. Damn, it's crazy that the statement wasn't true in all its memery. Yeah, even it's it's funny that even if we try to be as reductive and isolated as much as possible, they still can't do it. So I suspect I guess my big question is going to be, as we watch this, like, is he going to mention any right wing or the other the wide spectrum? There are over 150, I believe, 150 other like attacks of various sorts that aren't explicitly labeled like right wing or left wing at the moment. Just from that same period that from the 5-to-1 that he's probably citing, that most people are citing, where we're talking about the left doing more violence. So I'm just curious to see what he's going to, but there are also explicit examples like the one I brought up just now of Evergreen, and a handful more that I'll get to as we go. But I mean, obviously there is more left-wing violence this year than there has been historically. Like, that is true. But if we even just look at the I think it was the Mormon Church that was shut up. If we just look at that Mormon Church, like, there's already, the kill count is already higher for the right. So we're gonna see this idea that it's like, I mean, if he I feel like he could have picked. This is so, it's so interesting. People do this. Like, they're so obsessed with the narrative that they can't. I feel like they. I mean, shoot themselves in the foot is the wrong turn of phrase here, but like, I mean, he could have said like the left is responsible for more political violence in 2025. Like, he could say that, and he. I mean, I would say he's probably right. I'm like, that'd probably just be true. I mean, unless we talk about like the Trump administration and ICE, but like, if we just talk about like citizen, like private citizen political violence, then yeah. But they don't do that. They have to overextend their hand, and I don't know why. So that's why I came up with the title. I was like, well, they just can't stop lying. They're obsessed with it. It's like it's the only way they can get off.
Art, Okay.
Well, his name's Andrew? Not another Andrew. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into this.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am Sarah, the Raging Tomato, here bringing to you live another Throwdown Thursday. Joining me this evening is Andrew from Dragon Fist. The link is in the video description, so feel free to go check him out.
Should we? It's not. No, it's not, Sarah. I don't see his link. Let's just search up his handle while we listen.
Like, subscribe, share. Are you live streaming, by the way? I didn't ask you backstage.
Tonight I'm not, but soon we're going to be. Very soon.
Fair enough. Well,
Okay,
feel free
54K.
to copy and drop this one up on your end, and everyone go send your love and support. This evening, Andrew's ready to take on all of our lefties. He's ready to battle it out, duke it out, because
better
his
be.
claim is that political violence is coming almost exclusively from the left. I love the almost because it leaves room for just some mild error in there, that there
Well, there's a lot more than just some mild error there, as we're
might
gonna
be
see.
some on the right. But lay it on me, Andrew. Why?
Yeah, Effigy's already pointed out the Mormon church thing, which again, alone, just that one church shooting already puts it at a higher kill count than the 5 incidents that the CSIS report that he's probably citing references. So
Why
let's see.
is it all coming from the left? Why do you make this claim?
Well, where do we start? We could talk about just what we see. We could talk about either what we see from like a on the street approach, where it's like firebombing cars or looting, or you can go.
So looting is the left. That's interesting. Firebombing cars. There are a couple examples of that. I'll give them that one. So with especially the Tesla stuff earlier in the year, I believe. Let's see. I have these marked down. There was a NYPD squad car arson. No, that was squad car arson linked to Gaza protests in June. Then there was a Tesla New Mexico GOP headquarters firebombings. So there was one in February and March. The Tesla dealership in February, and the New Mexico Republican Party HQ in March.
You can go back to the Summer of Love, BLM protests, recently with Charlie Kirk. So you can't really name anything. I mean, the Christian churches, I would consider the Christian schools that get shot up. I would consider that left-wing attacks if you're shooting up a Christian church. The problem is sometimes they don't include those in the stats.
Okay.
Well, I mean, so presumably sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I wonder if there's I don't know, a motivating factor, for example.
But this is just on the street. It also comes down to what policies they put forward that allow the crime to thrive in certain communities. So it's like an every angle attack.
So crime is now political violence. So he's including crime. That's really interesting. I wasn't prepared for that. He's including crime as a result of Democrat policies, allegedly, as political violence. That's very interesting.
Where do you want to start first?
Let's start because I know you're kind of excluding but including the churches, but I do think that's a good starting point, since it's yes, but it's no. So let's go ahead and drop that one out of the way and get through it. Why would it be the churches are a left violence? Is it exclusively leftist, or is it atheist, or is it church on?
Yeah, again, Latter-day Saints. The Latter-day Saints church that was shot up. Let's see, what was the date on that one? The Michigan Mormon church shooting in March 2025 in Flint, Michigan. Early reporting described him as a conservative Trump supporter with intense animus towards the LDS church.
On church violence kind of thing. Tell me about it.
So quite often, it is the case with these school shooters that they went to these Christian schools, and they were often, they were ostracized. A lot of them are non-binary. A lot of them end up being trans. We see it in their manifestos. They don't like to let that come out. Even the Charlie Kirk shooter.
They don't like to let that come out. There, I believe there's two examples. There was one example of an actual shooting, or school shooter. I believe there's only one that actually was a real shooting, and the other one was stopped before it happened. Those are the two trans shooters, I believe. Jen says, "Man, nobody streams for hours and everyone streams at once." Yeah, my bad. Are you serious, Umbreon? As soon as I start getting into it.
Shooter, right? He had a trans boyfriend, so it's like something in that neighborhood, which I would consider ideological.
Is it even fully confirmed that person was trans? I guess. Maybe it has been.
That's clearly ideological. If that's not, then I don't know what would be considered left-wing violence, if that's not left-wing violence. A trans shooter on a Christian school.
Wait, okay, yeah, okay. Specifically a Christian, like if it's a trans shooter, then it's instantly left-wing political violence. That's interesting.
Have we looked into the people who are doing this, their reasoning why? Are they saying exclusively it's because it's a church, or exclusively I had a bad experience there, or exclusively I just hate these people because they spit at me once?
Yeah, so there's always different reasons, and the media. This is another problem with it, is the media.
Oh, so this guy didn't prepare like at all. Interesting. He's a mess. Like 4 messages I sent didn't go through. Literally using no word I can think should be getting removed from YouTube. Interesting. Yeah, I guess YouTube's being extra particular lately. It seems a lot. I've seen that happen a lot, where like people are getting their message. Umbreon, please. People's messages are not going through. I can't tell you why. Obviously, I can't see them for whatever reason. So
Media doesn't like to if the story isn't following their narrative to the T, it's very hard to get details, because immediately.
So it's all speculation again. So if the media doesn't report on it, then he's going to assume that or if the media tells us something different, he's going to assume that it's left-wingers. He's basically setting himself up for to pick anything he wants. Your thing on screen makes it so clear when YouTube is hiding the messages. Well, good. At least you guys can see it. If the message doesn't go through, it should pop up here. Although I think Jen's messages didn't pop up because my chat broke for a second, but it should be good now. I think it sometimes breaks when there's all these held messages. I should not let you off for this one, because you're driving crazy. I can't deal with you. Oh, what a wiener. But yeah, sometimes it freezes for that reason.
This is another thing that the left does. They don't mind the violence, because immediately they're just going to claim that it's the right committing it. So no matter.
Sounds like what this guy's doing literally right now. He's saying that we're just going to claim that it's the left-wingers, and the media. If the media doesn't report what I want to hear, then it's just the left.
What it is, it's just they're going to automatically put it on them. So it's hard to know. But when we see,
it's a little bit of projection there, right?
I have a few examples. There was the Abundant Life Christian school shooting, the Miracle Catholic school shooting.
I've noticed that when I send a message, it gets hidden. Your chat freezes. Yes, very common cause. Okay, yeah, that is helpful. So what churches did he just mention?
The to know, but when we see, I have a few examples. There was the Abundant Life Christian school shooting, the Miracle Catholic school shooting, the Kosher Christmas parade massacre. So over and over, and there's a lot more from specifically Christian schools, and they're almost never, like I said, classified as left-wing violence. But if you're attacking a clearly right-wing institution, I mean, to me, I would consider, then what is left-wing violence if that's not left-wing violence?
Well, again, what if you're attacking them for a different reason, right? So let's see. The Christmas parade attack was that was the Daryl Edward Brooks Jr. guy. The reports about this guy were he had extensive criminal history, sovereign citizen style stuff, no clear left-wing ideology. Definitely not clearly a left-wing attack, or a right-wing one for that matter. The Abundant Life one, let's see. This was the 15-year-old, the female student who was I believe this was the trans female to male, presumably. Although apparently there's no confirmed ideological motive there either. Doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't. We don't really know her or his ideological disposition. At least not from what I can see. Maybe there's more info out there. Miracle Life, Christmas Parade. Is that? Wait. I think we mixed up some of these. I think maybe he mixed up some of them, but anyway, that's okay. Living on exceptions. Exactly. Also good to see Polygraph. Let's see. I've watched his entire clown show trial every single day. Who's? The Daryl Brooks Jr. Interesting. Did you get the feeling that he's a left-wing extremist?
Violence. If we want, and even if we excluded that, I would grant that. Still, it's the far overwhelming amount of violence comes from the left. Like if you look, even just in recent history, you could say the Lee Zeldin stabbing.
Lee's Elding stabbing. Okay, Lee's Elding stabbing.
The Butler, PA attempt on Trump, burning down city.
Okay, I'll even grant the two different attempts on Trump. Although both of them, there is some reason to, like, I'm just doing that kind of in good faith. But like, I mean, Thomas Crooks, obviously, registered Republican, did donate $15 to Act Blue at one point. And the other guy talked extensively. He had like an ebook about how he regretted his support for Trump. So he was a former Trump supporter. So again, it's not really all that black and white, but
City. Like I said, with George Floyd, the second Trump International West Palm Beach attack, Charlie Kirk. Even if you go back further to like people that's.
Susan says, hey there, I'm mainly just here to listen. I don't know much about politics, but I'm learning. Well, I appreciate it. Learning is radical. To be fair, this is going to be a pretty charged one tonight. I'm definitely a progressive. I'm on the left. I'm definitely biased. So feel free to take me with a grain of salt. But I'm also trying to clarify. I'm trying to get clarity. And so far, it seems like he's misrepresented a lot of these examples based on my just cursory research. So there is that. And like Josh says, there's no world where Daryl Brooks, sovereign citizen, but is a lefty. He's far right, and the government should stay out of my business. And everyone's libertarian who went the soft citizen. Yeah, those guys. Yeah. Libertarian, soft citizen right or route, or oftentimes Republican leaning.
That stood up to the left, JFK, RFK. If you want to go back even further, Abraham Lincoln stood up to the Democrats. They killed him. So it's like
he brings up Abraham. Bro, did this guy not prepare at all? What the fuck? Abraham Lincoln? What are we even talking about? I tried, dude, I did so much prep for this in the past couple hours, and like I was so focused. I was like, he's got to be isolating to just the last year. So I just pulled up like all these different events from just the last year explicitly, where left-wing violence is finally outperforming. I say finally, it's a bad thing. It's for the first time in decades outperforming right-wing, specifically like terror plots. This is like the CNIS report. I thought, does he even know about the CNIS report? I feel like he could have a way stronger argument here.
Who else is there? Like who else has been politically assassinated?
Well, I can Melissa Hortman, her husband, her dog, and then that same guy who was impersonating a cop in Minnesota went to another Democratic politician's house, attempted to murder him, and then drove to another one before he was finally apprehended. But okay. Yeah, who else? Right, guys? 50 Miggy says, Radical Coder, please call this guy a liar. Oh yeah, that's I mean, look, I came into this like kind of pretty like open to him making a case, but so far he's no, he's definitely all over the place. Again, like I'm actually really surprised. Like, why would you take this as like your throwdown like, dude, this guy's gonna get like stomped on. Yeah, Sarah is already not pushing back. When I did an Orange Man Bad Throwdown Thursday a few months ago, and Sarah like bogged me, like I listed like all these insane things about Trump, and Sarah bogged me down into like just like one particular, like basically got me like arguing about gender, which is kind of my fault because I didn't pull her back. But like she was just pushing me on like gender shit and like trans ideology or whatever for a fucking hour. Like it was so stupid of me to like let that happen. Josh says far lefty violence with the dislike of government would be like anarchist more than soft citizen in my view. Sure. Panelverse says Andrew's crew sure ruined the rights fight. They aren't even truly right wing. They are borrowed men only out to con weak-minded incels. Tragic, really.
Fascinated by the right. Like it almost never happens, and they're going to take the very small examples. Like I said, they look for them, so they're going to take the.
He's about to mention. Is he about to say January 6th again? Melissa Hortman.
January 6th or the George Floyd, and they're going to run with that.
Nobody thinks George Floyd was a political assassination. What was he even talking about? Was that the one with kinetic kill? I don't think so. But Kel and I have done. We've been on panels a few times together.
In order to enforce their like anti-gun policies, and we'll get to that. That's also part of it.
Now, George Floyd, I thought that was like a kind of one-on-one, more on the police brutality type of feel. But did they have protests for that one too?
Yeah.
Well, of course they had protests for. Okay, well, they're both so lost. Like most of the 2020 like protests were incited, like largely in response to like the very vivid execution of George Floyd. No one's giving you January 6th reparations. They already got pardoned. They all got pardoned. Who need? They want reparations too? Josh says, Andrew on whatever for the panel, and the 1v1 makes himself and his cult look so bad. True. The ones he did yesterday or day before, I forget. I don't know. I haven't seen... I didn't watch the whatever podcast, but I don't turn into that very much. Panelverse says she's a mod. If she doesn't push back or catch things, no different than a ref missing a call. Rob Noor is just a sorry loser who cried, "Daddy, save me."
Yeah, so if you remember during COVID, everyone was locked down, but they were specifically like the left-wing mayors in these cities were promoting them, allowing them to go out, and everyone was boarding up. And that's another point that's clearly visible to anybody is like,
what does that have to do with political violence, dog? This guy, no, he's like Susan said, this guy's like all over the place. Like he's talking about COVID lockdowns right now. Like what the fuck are we talking about?
When Charlie Kirk got shot, no cities boarded up their stores, right? When something happens on the other side, they know. I didn't see anyone expecting looting. I didn't see anyone expect.
You know, if the police executed Charlie Kirk, we might have seen some weirder shit, right? Josh says January 6th. Oh, true, actually. Yeah, January 6th reparations were written into this clean CR. 8 senators will walk away with at least $1 million. That's a good point, Josh. Panelverse says, best part, Sarah assumed I was an ortho bro, but I'm a child of the forest who was raised by wolves. I just enjoy arguing. Yeah, but that money is not going to people who were arrested. Yeah, honestly, it's going to fucking senators.
Expecting rioting, and there wasn't any. There was like peaceful prayer vigils. So, but on the other side,
and there was a shit ton of people calling for civil war all over Twitter, saying and calling the Democrats a domestic terror organization, and saying that, like, basically calling for civil war, like saying this is the last straw, like kind of shit.
You know, if something happens to a George Floyd type figure, it's like they're burning cities, they're burning police stations. So I just don't. I don't even know. I know I said almost exclusively, but really, I can't think of any examples in recent.
This if he's not lying, which he might not be, he might just be like completely like uninformed, right? Which it kind of sounds like it, like because he's not even like representing his own examples very well. Like it's possible this guy's just in such a insane echo chamber. He has no fucking clue. He probably doesn't even know that like a Minnesota lawmaker was murdered by a anti-abortion activist.
Recent history of political violence coming from the right. I'm sure there are some. Nothing's absolute, but.
Okay, because we would consider police brutality to be some type of political agenda, right? In terms of the George Floyd, the Freddie Gray, so on and so forth. And that would tap into the idea that people especially particularly inner cities or of a certain race, so on and so forth, are being, I guess, what would you say, socially profiled? Sure. By the police and treated differently or less than or whatever the case may be. So that political agenda would be fed from the left in terms of this is what you're doing to us, whereas, you know, and we're going to riot for it. Whereas on the right side, we're not seeing that type of activity if the same thing.
Well, it is this. She's about to say if the same thing were happening, but like how can we possibly compare like the disproportionate violence of police against black communities to it? Like what on the right would we possibly compare that to? Josh says, it doesn't matter if he's uninformed. You will go into the panel and educate him and his position won't change. That's true. That's true. Panelverse says, I was canceled for standing up when no one else would and calling it out. Chin up, all of you. Never quit because I am a nobody loser. I believe in you all. Well, thank you, Panelverse. Aaron says, you know, her ex-husband was one of the Freddie Gray cops, right? No, wait, Sarah? No shot. Really? That is very interesting. How did I not know that? Is that real? That's crazy.
Same thing were to happen to a white dude, right?
Absolutely. And you touched on
Knew
something
them.
important there.
Okay,
It's
that's
all about the
different.
narrative, right? Because from a martial arts standpoint, I can tell you that George Floyd was not strangled or choked to death. And
Okay, no one said he was strangled. I don't think anybody said he even was choked to death. But multiple reports found that, like, he was murdered. Like, he died specifically because of the knee on his neck. But I guess Andrew knows differently.
the reason that I know that is because there's
Sarah
like,
knows along.
you'll see news clips where it's like, choked him for 9 minutes. Like, you can't choke someone for.
No, he had his knee on his neck for 9 minutes. You can watch the video. You can watch the fucking video. What is happening? Should I start a GoFundMe for him? Somewhere I have an old news interview. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
For 9
Won't pull it
minutes.
up right this
Like,
second, but
if
that's
it's
very
been 9
interesting.
minutes,
We'll
you're
have
not
to return to
choking them, right? Like, you can
Right.
only choke someone for like 1 or 2 minutes. And if you're strangling them, like, the difference is choking is
What are these specific, like, this, like, I mean, even if I grant him what he's saying about, like, choking and strangling, like, these are not the words that were used by the medical examiner.
like pushing on your
It was asphyxiation.
windpipe so you can't breathe. And strangling is like cutting off the blood flow. So it's even quicker. If you're strangling someone, it's like 30 seconds. So there's no 9-minute strangle. So there's something else
Again, yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about.
going on
obviously.
there. But they want to push
Organ
this like,
slang.
they use this illegal chokehold to like, which isn't the case. It's clearly not the case. So
That chokehold is now illegal, at least in certain states. I believe where that happened is one example. Josh says, Ryan, they have shifted. There was never a knee on his neck, and it was a bait camera angle, and there's an angle that that shows there's no knee on neck. Oh, that's ridiculous. Panel versus, I don't get along with Sarah, but facts are facts, and that was when I said loudly to misguide the incels who don't really listen. Interesting.
and I'm even more talking about the reaction, right? Like what happened after. Like they use this as kind of a catalyst. And this is not the first time they've done.
Susan says, I saw a copy of his autopsy, and it said he died from meth and fentanyl overdose, also blockage to his heart. Yeah, it's possible that if he wasn't on fentanyl, that like that knee on his neck might not have killed him, but it was definitely it contributed, right? Like that's what both medical examiner, both autopsies found. This guy seems like fun.
Done this. Like the left has been doing this all the way back, like from the 60s. Like they choose these like
He brought up Abraham Lincoln earlier. Now he's talking about the 60s. God damn.
political moments and like use it for their national campaigns. The same thing with Rosa Parks. You know, Rosa Parks had a car. She had a car.
Really?
She had a car. And like
Wait, what does that matter?
there's another girl that had previously gotten arrested in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, Rosa Parks was a planned event. Yeah, she planned for that. It was organized. Yeah, like this is true. This was an organized civil rights protest. But what the fuck? No, you're not making me mad. No, I think you're correct. Like the fentanyl, I'm not saying the fentanyl didn't had nothing to do with it. But it was definitely the cause of death was not just that he had fentanyl in his system, right? Like this was a guy who was on fentanyl at least somewhat regularly at the time, and he was a big guy. Josh says it didn't say he died from the drugs. It said they were present in his blood and aided to it. It was ruled a homicide, not an overdose. Exactly. Yeah. It's possible that it might not have ended in his death if he didn't have that in his system. But that's not what's at issue, right? It is exhausting, Lefty Warrior. Animated FG says this guy's just a dumb conspiratard. He basically already said that everyone who is his politics is part of some grand scheme to control everyone who isn't his politics is part of some grand scheme to control everything. 2 separate autopsies were done, says Josh, one by the government and one paid for by the family, and they both wrote a homicide. Yep, exactly.
Like a month before, but she wasn't and the left should take notes from this. They didn't use her because she wasn't a good social icon, so they recreated the act with Rosa Parks. So they should have did this with George Floyd. They should have taken their own notes and got a better martyr, because I just don't see the comparison.
Right.
And even
Sarah's like, right, yeah, totally, yeah, for sure, definitely. What the god damn it, Sarah? No, I don't blame. No, it's infuriating. Hey, Short Stack. Sorry you can't sleep, but I'm happy to have you here.
reaction, but just to who they prop up between that or a Charlie Kirk.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so let's dive in into the J6 agenda, because
J6, really? Okay.
that would be coming what would be presumed from the right. Tell me give me all the talking points that would come from the left on why J6 was so horrible and treacherous and so on and so forth.
Sure. Well, it definitely seems like it was orchestrated. I think it's come out now that there was something like 60 federal agents that were there on the scene.
So that's not true. There were 253, I believe, who showed up after the Capitol had already been breached. And that's the number that the Trump administration has been rolling with. And there was 20-something people who were informants, who had been informants at some point or something like that. But man, this guy's just like, also, why can't I set goals? What's going on? Maybe I need to switch browsers. Apparently I can't like access my goal thing in my, hang on.
And you can go back and watch the videos of people calling them out, like the guy right in the front saying like, let's go in, and people calling him a Fed. And then after going to his house and like finding this guy, he never got arrested. Why is that? So you have these like
he's literally talking to Ray Epps.
what is that word called? Not infiltrators, but like these like political infiltrators. There's a word for it. I just forgot what it is. Like operatives there setting things up. And you could see even the police walking, like letting the people in and walking them through on the security cameras. So like, why were they escorting them around? Especially even the guy with the horns, they were escorting him around.
Yeah, I remember him.
Right. Like it doesn't seem like he was brave. It wasn't an insurrection. Let's go back to the violence thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's never been an insurrection.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I think it was an insurrection, but it doesn't really matter what you call it. It was an attack on. I mean, you can watch videos of them beating the shit out of cops. Like
in history without weapons.
God, these people are
like,
so uninformed.
The only person that got killed was the veteran. Like there was no police officers killed. One died like 2 days later from a heart attack. None killed on the scene. Only the protester was shot. The girl, she was like an Air Force veteran. She was the only death.
Yeah, you should watch the video of what she was doing. She was breaking into a window. She was in the Capitol already, like, and they were breaking into a window where she was going. There was one small room between where that crowd was, where Ashley Babbitt was, and where the Congress people had been moved to. And there's one small room with guards in it, and they break through the window, and then she starts climbing through the window, and then she gets fired upon. And I promise you that if they had gotten through there, then it would like if they hadn't stopped her, then it probably would have been a lot worse for a lot more people.
Yeah. So like, what kind of insurrection is that? But again, and you can find the tapes of Nancy Pelosi like in the car admitting that she could have called in the National Guard and didn't. So like they want this. So they're looking for another one right now.
Yeah,
they want another George Floyd or January 6th because then they can point the finger and scream, and they have nothing else. So they can like use it to try to throw on us. But I didn't see much violence from the tapes that I saw.
Okay, that's fair. Well, do you think we feed into that by giving them stepping stones to stand on, to feed them the ability to go and riot and get upset?
I mean, 100% they feed it on the left. That's another thing. It's like you can go back to the George Floyd riots and find they were like delivering bricks in Los Angeles, like on pallets, like just delivering them to where the rioters were. So who's doing that, right? Like who? Right. So somebody's giving them a stepping stone, and it's the same thing with.
I have heard about these pallets of bricks or whatever. Okay, thank you for that. I'll check this out. Wasn't he just knew them? Yeah, okay, that's what Panelverse was saying. Okay, thank you, Aaron.
A lot of, even today, you see like these left-wing protesters. It's really good citizen journalists that go up to them and just ask them questions. They don't even know why they're there. They just go there. There's like a line of picket signs. They all grab one, and they don't even know what they're protesting. So like,
I don't know if you go to any No Kings protests, which I know 7 million of you did across the country. It sure seemed like everyone knew what they were there for. If you look around, they had a whole bunch of signs explaining why they were there, and they would tell you very clearly what they thought about Trump and what they didn't like about him.
So like, it's like they're there by design, and sometimes they send them with violence in mind.
I mean, what if the right was feeding it? What if that's good. We could go.
Yeah. What if? Yeah. No. Actually, unironically, a good question. I keep hearing about these pallets of bricks. I don't know where these pallets of bricks came from. I don't know. Somebody knows. I don't know what was over these pallets of bricks.
Conspiracy style, but wouldn't it be wise to make the other team look as crazy and uncredible as possible? What
happened to him? Gay Odyssey. I don't know. Tell me.
And set them up, because not a whole lot of lefties have money, right? According to a lot of people. So. I
mean, that's highly debatable, but
wouldn't it be wise to be like, hey, they're all upset, they're sad, like they're mad about this thing. Let's disenfranchise them. Let's discredit them. Let's make them look like they're just hog wild and set them up for failure, so that we can later in turn transition the narrative to not George Floyd, but to all these crazy people piped up over a guy who, was not an upstanding citizen of some sort, right?
Nobody on earth is saying that George Floyd was this upstanding citizen. However, he was a father. He did have a child, right? He wasn't just like this evil monster. He was a guy who did crimes in the past, served time for those crimes, and was paying. Remember, he was paying with a counterfeit $20 bill. We don't even know if he knew. We don't even know if he knew it was a counterfeit $20 bill.
Right.
100%. So let me just think about how I want to word this. So they do that to themselves. We don't have to do that. We would do it if it was necessary, but they're already like, we don't have to make them look stupid because they're already like, are you familiar with Libs of TikTok?
Yes. Yeah.
All it is.
That is a project explicitly that primarily doxes left-wing people, by the way, or presumed left-wing people, but it's explicitly focused on trying to make them look as stupid as possible and clip people out of context and shit.
Is just taking their videos and uploading them. And like literally there's no editing. They just take the videos of themselves that they put up, and this alone is enough to let regular people see what's going on. So that would be a great tactic if we needed to do it, but they really do that for us. I mean, it's pretty clear that and this is part of it. This is part of the violence thing. It's clear that the left is the party currently, not always, but currently the left is the party of the mentally ill. And I'm not saying that's the only constituency they have, but they have that constituency. Like the mentally ill people are usually on the left, right? That's part of it. So again,
this is true, Lefty. This is true. These people, they put themselves, they like, look, you might not feel, Sarah, you might not feel like you're on the wrong side of history. But one day you might look back. You might feel very different. Brandon Strucker runs the Walkway Group. He's a big bottom who leads the left away from the woke industrial complex. Okay.
Right. Again, we don't have to like bring this out of them as like it's quite often something that's on full display by itself.
Well, I mean, what I look at people like Nick Fuentes, for instance, I would consider him mentally ill, right? There's a few talking points that he'll throw out there that I'm like, okay, I could jump on board with that one.
Mentally ill? Fuentes? What does mentally ill mean to these people?
But then the other 99% of it, I'm like, that is all hogwash. You know, I wouldn't put my stamp of approval on any of that. And that's
like he
part
peddles
of
in conspiracy
theories. Community, so on and so forth. I would consider that to be to some degree of like insanity to think we should. I mean, I won't even say what all the things he says, but I would consider that to be some kind of weird, obsessive insanity type of deal. So I think there's a different levels of mental illness that go back and forth between both sides. But I'm assuming you're going down the route of transgenderism or the PDF pro pushers, things of that nature.
Which I don't buy the narrative that those what was the word, like the maps or whatever, like that was like a 4chan conspiracy. There are people, right, who try to use LGBTQ narratives to like push they're minor attracted people or whatever, but like these aren't like these people are all explicitly rejected by these communities. Zerian says Candace is way closer to mental. Yeah, if she said Candace, I would give her that. Candace has got there's a bolt loose somewhere in there. Candace is a little nutty. Also, good to see you, Zerian.
That nature, but then I feel like the left would combat that. We just had somebody say it the other day that the only reason the age of consent or marriage isn't below 18, like the right would have pushed for that age range to be lower. You know, and I would consider that.
No, so what they're saying is that Republicans are blocking the laws that would ban child marriage. That's what's happened. If you go, this is hilarious still, by the way, just for me.
Consider that to be part of the PDF kind of push weird agenda, right? So I feel like there could be something on both sides that would be unlevel to some degree, right? But I think I'm guessing you're going down the realm of the transgender push, or what other mental illness could you tap into that you would say is what kind of leads into a lot of this?
Well, I think it's like you remember that video when Trump won the election the first time and that lady's like screaming,
like that
type, right? That type of mental illness. Like these people are just like, I don't know, they don't live in this reality. I don't think we.
So, some woman cries when Donald Trump becomes president. That's mental illness. People literally riot, storm the fucking Capitol, talk about hanging Mike Pence, but he points. We're pointing to a woman crying about Trump getting elected.
I think we live in the same ecosystems, or we get the same information. So the dog whistles. This is the point I was trying to make with like why this works so well for getting violence. Like the upper echelon of the left doesn't even have to come up with a plan by like using it. Oh, and I want to get back to Nick Fuentes, who I think is a psyop. I think that's a psyop. I don't think that's real.
That's fair.
No way. Yeah. But so the left knows that they don't even have to come up with a plan if they want to hurt somebody. They just throw out.
It would even if Nick was a psyop, which I don't buy the narrative that like Nick's a Fed or whatever. Like what he was recruited to be a Fed when he was like fucking like 18, whatever. He was like, I mean, he was a kid. Like, I mean, I guess it's technically possible, but like it really like defies. It's such a ridiculous narrative, but like I think he's just a guy that kind of started a cult. Like he's just a kid who started a cult.
Throw out all the time, this person's a Nazi, this person's a Nazi, this person's a right-wing extremist, evil, Nazi. And they're someone on their mentally ill base picks up on that and says, holy shit. Because what do you do really if you think someone's a Nazi? Like you need to, if you really thought Nazis were coming to America, like it's like you're doing.
The first thing you would do is not vote them into power. You should make sure you don't vote for them.
To stop them if you really believe it. So like they do have people that believe that when they say this and they can get them, to commit violent acts based on just that dog whistle that you hear so often of Nazi. And that's why I think Nick Fuentes, he's got to be some type of plan. There's no way. Like nobody thinks those things. And
they do though. Like he radicalizes a ton of young men. There's the Groyper. Look at the young Republican group chats. They're all saying Fuentes shit. They're all fucking Groypers. God, man, this guy is so lost. Lefty men are not scared of therapy and psychiatry. I'm a little scared of therapy. Okay, that's
I've never in years of being on the right, and my friends are all on the right, and listening to right wing stuff. I've never heard anything like this ever.
That's fair. Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not fair. It's wrong. You're just lying.
we've been hearing the word fascist a lot lately towards the right.
I wonder fucking why.
And I think that would build up a natural inclination for hate or just let me dismantle everything you're doing because this one thing makes me think you're a fascist.
But Trump also calls the Democrats fascist. Man, I am losing my mind. This is infuriating.
Right. So it goes back the other way of the discrediting, make it seem absolutely absurd and crazy. And let me try to dismantle every possible bit of that I can now. Do you think that because of those labels that leads to that political violence? We saw the Charlie Kirk thing happen.
If it is, then Trump using those labels is pretty damning, right, Sarah?
And it was believed that, because of the anti-fascist type of movements and so on and so forth, that leads into that. What are your thoughts there?
Well, 100%. I think that was it the Charlie Kirk where they wrote on the bullets, like catch fascist? Was that
Charlie
Or at least
Kirk? That's what we're being told.
Yeah, well, that's what we're being told.
Well, yeah, it seems to be what happened. Susan says, I have an amazing psychiatrist and he saved my life. That's good to hear, Susan. Well, not good to hear that you had. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing well. Is what I'm trying to say.
It seems likely to me. It seems to correlate if he does have a trans boyfriend that he would also use that type of rhetoric because it's the same narrative. And when you see that,
the same narrative is Charlie Kirk's a fascist and having a trans partner.
Stuff, and you see it on the.
Do you guys see how like schizophrenic this like the thought process is here?
Bullets. It's exactly what we're talking about. Like, we don't even know how far this was set up, but it also seems to be something. And now if you wanted to get a little conspiracy but seriously, it seems to be
just now
little something where they go for the weird sexual deviance, right? About Epstein, but even this kid that supposedly killed Charlie Kirk with the trans boyfriend, right? He's in like these weird internet spaces with like weird sexual things going on are easier to.
Has that come out? I don't know if that's ever come out. He's in like weird sexual spaces or whatever. Like he was in like primarily like that one Discord, right?
Manipulating control. And if you remember that guy, as soon as the gun went off, that old guy got up and said it was him.
Mm-hmm.
They found on that guy's phone later, like when the cops asked him for his phone, he didn't want to give it. And he had child porn on his phone. And he got in trouble. You could verify that. Look it up. So what that tells me is both of these people. I believe it. That guy was
that guy had been like at various. That guy was like a provocateur who'd like He had in multiple occasions like tried to make scenes at various political events, but like tried to get like he was just like some crazy dude.
Weird sexual thing going on and could easily be controlled by someone who's trying to exploit that or threatening to bring that out to the public. Maybe they don't want it out, or even threatening to,
just like an opportunist.
In the older guy's case, arrest him. And all they have to say to him is, look, you don't want to get arrested. We know you have this on your phone. When this gunshot goes off, stand up and say it's me. And if they just go for people like this, because it's the same as the Epstein thing, but just on a different level. So many levels of tactics they have.
I mean, couldn't you say that?
Who's they? Who is even they here? Who are the people who organize? What is this they? Why is it sudden? Why is this the left who has this whole thing that he just described organized? I've my understanding. All right, I've heard this from a lot of right wingers. Is that Charlie Kirk had started criticizing Israel shortly before his death, right? So I mean, why are we saying it's just the left? Like I don't know about that.
That would be coming from obviously there's some type of mental illness with the older gentleman. If he's got corn on his phone like that and so on and so forth, I would say presumably he's already got some marbles running around loose. Maybe in that moment he just had a kind of a insane thing happen.
Again, he had been there was other instances of that guy like causing his, like putting himself in a weird position, like trying to get attention at other events. Like he was at other protests. He was like being extremely provocative and trying to like cause a scene.
Or I don't know. I mean, I've heard so many conspiracies on all of this already. And I'm just still not convinced that there's any solid answer at this point. There's too much out there, but we could riff-raff all day long on is it real? Is it this? Is it that? Or was it just a setup for this kid? And it's convenient that he has a transgender girlfriend.
I mean, convenient. What is that? In what way is that convenient?
Is it convenient?
I've always said like if anything, like he put his trans partner in more danger than they were in before, right? Because of the response to that and the way that they pointed the blame at trans people, the way they tried to say it was a trans person who did it, like right out the bat, right out the gate. Like they were literally doxing random ass trans people and saying that it like he was them. Yeah, Candace Owens.
Convenient
exactly.
that like the messages were weird, and then he was in Discord servers, and I feel like somebody who's already chronically online and doing all of these things is already easy to exploit and switch narratives on to begin with, right?
Exactly.
So
that's why these narratives work. That this is exactly why it works, because of it targets people like that. And I'm saying most of the targeting, because you can see how it's implemented in society right now, is coming from the left, in my opinion. And I'll just say one last thing, like in that old guy's reaction, like it's my opinion that's not, like even coming from a martial arts standpoint, like that's not a natural reaction. Like even if you're crazy, I mean, I don't know.
No, even if you're crazy, of course it's not a natural reaction. It's not a natural situation to be in, right?
Maybe anything's possible, but it's highly unlikely that his reaction, if he didn't know a gunshot was even coming,
I love Duck. Duck's like, was Trayvon Martin a paid protester? This guy probably thinks so. Jesus.
Expecting it, like had no idea it was coming. That his immediate reaction would be to stand up and say it was me. Highly unlikely.
Well, you never underestimate the crazy. That's one thing I've learned.
For sure.
Okay, so when we go into, let's see, we did J6, the church kind of concept. We've got George Floyd.
There are stronger. He doesn't even know. He can't even cite like the good examples that like. Does he even know that there's a CSIS report that like supports or that like lends him some credence to the argument he's trying to make? That it's like he has no clue.
Are you familiar with the Freddie Gray riots?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. That was here in Baltimore. I was I was on Macon Kelly for that one actually, because it was a whole big ordeal. But I mean, we even had the Freddie Gray riots here in, I believe it was 2015. And I remember the mayor of Baltimore saying, give them space, let them do this, let them riot and do what they want to do. And I thought that was the weirdest thing, to basically tell all the cops to back down and let them go destroy all of and the thing of it is they're destroying their own stuff.
It's crazy.
That's the part that
they're destroying their own stuff. Why? Because they're black. They're destroying black people's stuff. So it's their own. That's a very interesting way to frame that. Assuming that's even like what was said by the governor. I don't know what the actual governor's quotes was. Yeah, apparently lefty.
And I'm kind of like, well, at least it's not my house, right? But where do you stand with that? Because if they're being destructive, usually they are destructive in their own communities. Yep. Should we consider this all that of a bad thing if they're going to, in terms of...
That's insane. What a weird take.
Riots?
It's actually by design. And again, it comes, if you notice where this is going on, it's going on particularly in left-wing run areas, right? Like you could just tell the difference, like between what you're describing in riots in Baltimore. And like, if you come to, for example, like I could literally walk outside. Okay. My key fob in my car has been broken for like 6 months. I literally I never lock my car everywhere I go. I like park it like at my office, here at my house, like my computers. I shouldn't be.
Yeah. Apparently Daphne, actually, Aaron Sound sent me a video. Apparently, her ex-husband knew the officers involved.
I shouldn't be saying this. Like sometimes my computer's in there. No, never have to worry about it ever. Like even in my driveway. Like, but if I was in like an inner city Democrat run area, yes, there's more people. But like San Francisco, they're leaving notes on cars. Please don't rob me. There's nothing in here.
I will keep that in mind, Zervian. I pulled up. I watched some of those videos and I assumed he had no. Like Andrew does this thing where he like anytime someone cites data that's like inconvenient for him, he makes up a bunch of shit to discredit it. And then sometimes if there's like a lot of data against something he's saying, he'll be like, well, there's this replication crisis in all these fields, so you can't even take any data seriously. But when the data agrees with him, he talks about it endlessly and he'll cite it endlessly. It's very Very naughty
so, like,
debate
drastic
tactics.
difference, right? Please don't break my windows. And I was there. I saw it. This is only a few years ago. I was there. I heard it's even worse. So, you can see where this is taking place, and it's, like I said, it's by design. So what you're describing, it comes from the left-wing policies. Where do you want to start from how they're trying to cause violence? If you're talking about inner city communities, it started with removing father figures by design. Then who are the cultural figures that?
Did you guys know that black fathers are more likely to be in their child's life? Did you guys know that? This lack of fathers narrative doesn't even make sense with the reality. Like, they're disproportionately likely to be actually part of their child's life. So just a fun fact whenever someone brings this shit up.
That these people look up to, like rap music in particular, which I like. I was listening to before this debate to get pumped up, but their lyrics in particular are the only ones exclusively that are like straight about murder.
Pop a cap in your mama's ass. Bang, bang.
That, right? So if you take away the father figure, and who do they look up to? These people.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that. Exactly. Islamic terror is a separate thing. Although arguably, I mean, Islamic terror has a lot. Islamism has a lot more. Islamic terrorists are often like right wing. I believe so. And the prison violence is filtered out unless it's a terror attack on the prison. Andrew reads, no, I don't.
With these people, it creates a violent atmosphere to begin with. And then there's a million other ways that they put the left-wing DAs in that are soft on crime, that attracts the criminals, that causes other people to commit. It's a whole attack on our society. And again, it's coming almost exclusively from the left. I just don't see any examples of anything like this other than a January 6th.
Well, boy, am I excited to talk to you, Andrew, because I have some news for you about what's been going on this past year.
Right.
Which I don't even think is real, that of the right.
So let's dive into the communities and starting from the father figures and so on and so forth. Why would the left wing want to dismantle the family unit? It's already, I mean, especially if they depend on the left side to feed into the system and vote and so on and so forth. Why would they want to dismantle it and disrupt?
Hey, Glitchin. Not a lot of inclusiveness when bodies are getting thrown off roofs for being gay. Yeah, for real.
Well, they keep them dependent by design. Like if you think about even these programs that initially incentivized it, it was like single motherhood. The more kids they had, they got more money, right? With all these programs, the one thing that you can't do when they give you money is like make more money anywhere else. You're not allowed to make any other money. Like if you get a job like 1 day a week, like they know you can't like get the benefits anymore that you were getting, or they get cut down, right? So like what?
I've actually been making this argument for a while that like, if this is true, this is an issue with like scaling, but apparently it's like there actually are like there are like tiered programs. So like actually this narrative doesn't even like hold up in reality either.
Like, why is that?
Another fucking
it's
lie.
like almost like you see like a guy on the street that needs help, and you go to give him like, here's $5, but you can't get any other money from anyone else today. Like, what? Like, what's the point of that? Like, are you actually helping? Like, if you really wanted to help them, why not just give them a set? The point is that they want to keep them in this position, and they know exactly how much to give to keep them dependent. We saw what just happened with the SNAP benefits, and how many people it's like absolutely
42 million Americans depend on SNAP, and Trump was blocking it. Trump was blocking them.
Absolutely critical to their livelihood, to their life, and it's not supposed to be like that. So it's by design. It's by design to keep them hooked on it.
Well, okay, but
it might be by design by the companies that are underpaying them, so that they get their wages fucking supplemented. Okay, the panel's open. All right, we don't have to watch the whole thing, right? We can just hop on, bro.
That was a big part of propaganda. They controlled people in newspapers, and so I actually think it was probably easier then. Now, because I often think like without social media, we wouldn't know any of these things. Like we wouldn't really even know about the George Soros. Like if you want the information, it's there. I just think that the social media relies on a side that's like intellectually lazy. And I can give you an example of this. Like this guy that I often debate back and forth with, he's like a left-wing guy. And I'm friends with his brother. So we're like on a thing, and we were showing him someone on Instagram that he knows this person like well. And I remember he looks at the thing, he's like doing something else. He's like, I don't know who that is. And he just turns around and starts doing something else. So I started thinking about it after, like, what actually just happened there? And like what happened is he's too lazy to even think about it, to even look at the person, think about it a little bit, realize who that person is, and respond. He's too intellectually lazy for that. And we're getting more intellectually lazy.
I'm still trying to max out
things like ChatGPT. And
I'm
with,
still trying to beat
AI
everything in
that's doing
Legends
the
EA.
thinking for us. So this problem is just going to get worse for that side, where they're like, it's almost like brainwashing, and it's just going to get worse. That would be my prediction.
That's fair. To the audience, I have officially dropped the link to the backstage.
has.
If you want to start shuffling back there, we will bring you up
sorry,
on panel
Gretchen. Please
shortly.
forgive me.
Come join for the discussion. I know I know all the lefties want to come fry you. Effigy, stop talking your shit in the chat and get backstage.
Let's go. Let's go.
So aside, I mean, part of me thinks the left
Susan.
can't be that smart. Right, unless they were being fed by something else, and I say that not in a insult to the leftists, right? I have a lot of lefty friends here that I think are incredibly intelligent or very well versed. However, from what we see on the media, like how can that be getting fed so well? Like, where's the top? Where do you think the top is? Or is it a conspiracy and it's really, somebody else, somewhere else trying to infiltrate America through these left-wing narratives and all of this propaganda and make them believe all of these crazy things and let them fight amongst themselves and just tear themselves.
I'm sorry, I had to mute. What a fucking hilarious thing to say when Tim Pool, for example, Lauren Chen, Lauren Southern, a bunch of these right-wing influencers, and possibly Trump himself, were literally spreading Russian disinfo and being paid by fucking Russia.
And that transgenderism and these types of things are prominent on the left. There's two groups of people. On the left, there's one that actually believe it. And those are the dumb ones. And they'll actually say, oh, yeah, this Johnny, he's a girl now, and call him a girl. And they actually believe that a trans
I'm not getting dragged into a gender conversation with this fucking loser. I'm not doing it.
That's one. Then you have the people at the top that don't believe it. And even the lower level management. But
he is aptly describing how the right wing works.
Educators, the people in education, they know this is bullshit. They know. But what are they willing to do is they're willing to say it anyway, which is like a call of loyalty. Like, yeah, he's literally describing how MAGA works. That I know is false as a loyalty to the party, right? It's common Marxist ideology to make them say something that they know isn't true just to show loyalty. So you also have them. So yeah, you have the really dumb ones. That's what I'm saying. They get them and the mentally ill. And they get them with the ideology and they actually believe this nonsense. And then you have the other ones that are just hardcore loyal to the party. And then the ones all the way at the top that are actually know what's going on and devising this stuff, like a Soros.
How far is this from socialism or communism?
What?
On the left side.
What are we talking? What are we even fucking talking about?
It depends where you are. But if you got like a Mamdani, he's a self-proclaimed socialist, basically, I would consider it way too close to and here's the thing for people that think we need more socialism. Out of the money that America takes in, like the money we take in from taxes, not our GDP, what we take in every year, revenue, we spend 68% of it on entitlement programs. We spend more than any other country in the world by far on social programs. We are the most socialist. There's no country that is even close to us in the amount of social programs that we put out. And that's just a fact.
Because we have more people.
So I don't know if you hate us, you hate socialism, I guess. So yes, they are implementing their socialism into America
per capita. I promise that's not true.
I don't know what else they want. Free buses, I guess.
Could be cool.
That's funny. Come on, Darko. Go on backstage. I know you want on here too. Let's go, Effigy. Okay.
I'm losing my mind. I'm going to scream.
If it's only left-wing violence, then what is everything else? Because not everything, right? Not everything is definitely left-wing. However, there's other stuff out there that's just regular violence. Or I look at the insurance. Do you remember the guy who killed the insurance CEO? I don't know if that was necessarily a political agenda. I mean, it was healthcare based, but he had a personal reason why he was upset, and he decided to go do something wackadoodle about it.
I don't know much about Luigi.
Right? Like, what do you think about stuff like that?
But Luigi was cheered on by
this is an example that they're trying to muddy the waters of what's true, and that kid's clearly a leftist. I mean, even he was like a darling of the. They like loved him. There was like
so did Ben
girls
Shapiro's
wanted to
fans.
date him. Like these are all people on the left that like didn't care. And this was something I was going to bring up earlier. You could see it in their reactions, right? Like they don't care he killed that CEO. They don't care. He's one of them.
I did
for sure.
That was a bad idea.
You know, they were outside with signs during his trial. Those people are not on the right. We don't.
Well, maybe people protesting out there. But by the way, we have a goal that ends in 3 minutes. It could be any color super chat. If you guys want to give just a little bit of support the stream, support the dream. If you cannot support with your funds, I understand. Please at least support with your thumbs. Just give the stream a like. I would really appreciate it. If you cannot support with your money, again, you can just support with your thumbs. But if you can, I would really appreciate it. Again, we have any color super chat to make sure that we are, doing.
And this
keep the stream running a little bit. I got a dog to feed.
Encompasses everything that we're talking about. Clearly left-wing violence.
All right. Well, all right. Last question. What would be the solution to end it? Like, how do you stop it? If it's so terrible, if it's so horrible, there's got to be a solution to end it or minimize it, mitigate it, or something. What do you do?
Well, I think we're doing a good job already of. We had spoken about this, I think, the other time, that it's like not cool really anymore. I don't think to be people that I talk to never want to identify as being on the left or being a Democrat. They always tell me they're an independent. I just don't always. They don't want to associate with it, which I think is a good thing. And I think we really need to bring back like public shaming and just like making fun of them.
That's so funny.
Good ideas need to counter their bad ideas.
Gen X always coming
some of these kids
Thank you so much. We love
be
Umbreon.
I'm not like advocating bullying, but like a little light bullying,
appreciate it so much.
Like might be good for someone to like shut their mouth sometimes. Like no one cares. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's why I'm coming on.
Blue hair, like running around, like maybe. I
kind of agree with what he's
saying. Just maybe
right
they wouldn't be doing that if there was like a little bit more public shaming or something. But I think we're winning the culture war, which is really the only way. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
All right. I mean, I feel like most of this starts at home.
Definitely. Education's a huge problem. That's true. I mean, we've clearly gotten done.
Education is elevation.
Is a hot
Learning
mess,
is
and
radical.
I see what comes home for my kids, and I get very irritated.
Thank you again, Gen X.
I see.
Hey, the Rav.
You mentioned the father figures not being at home, and I feel like if more fathers were home to put their foot down or up the kid's ass, per se, I think that some of this dumb shit wouldn't be dumb shit. There's more people that just need a good smack on the face than 100%. Anything. But that would also be promoting violence from the right. So I can't say that and then not be a hypocrite at the same time. So. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backstage ready to go. Let me attend to Espresso getting their new membership. Jen, congratulations and welcome to the Raging Tomato. Calvin, who is backstage, so we can further prompt into this when we bring him up, says, "I hope this won't be another all-white panel discussing black issues. As for black people, keep not voting Democrat. I hope he isn't suggesting that we should vote Republican."
Yeah, that would be
What
stupid.
are your thoughts to that?
I mean, why not try something else? You've been voting Democrat since the 60s, and like every statistic has gotten worse that you could possibly go by for quality of living.
That's not true. Since the 60s?
Why not just try? Just try it. Like no one's trying to hurt you. I promise. Like the only ones that are hurting you are the ones you keep voting for. That's what I would say.
Or the ones that I feel like if you go to the right, if you vote for the right, they're going to make you pick yourself up by your bootstraps kind of thing. And
maybe that's what people are already fucking doing.
That, right? I'll let I know Calvin's been here a few times. I like Calvin. Calvin's probably like gritting his teeth right now. He's like, "Fuck, Sarah, shut up." All right. Are you ready to meet your panel?
Yeah, maybe.
Ready.
Let's go have some fun. Here we go. And let's, Effigy, where the fuck are you? Get your ass up here.
There you go, guys. I can't believe how underprepared this guy is. I'm I'm so embarrassed for him. I'm gonna be mean. Oh. Guys, pull me back. Pull me back. Yeah, for real, glitching. They just have no clue what's going on in their country. Like, they're completely lost, dude. Hold my purse. Yeah, for real, they're out. It's frustrating. Especially if you're like working hard and you're getting like supplemental SNAP, like people work for Walmart, Amazon, shit like this. Hey, what a king! Yeah, I hope so. We'll see.
All right. I want to start first. Coley,
Thank you so
you're
much,
going to
Almighty
hold
Nate.
your mouth because Calvin actually sent money. You did not. And so I want to let Calvin kind of, who's got the beep in the back?
Not me.
Somebody needs to turn off their fire alarm or put battery or stop hitting the button that plays that sound. Calvin, I want you to kick us off because I know you're already like screaming in your head right now. Go ahead.
Can I go next?
You
after?
maybe. Coley, let's
All
see if you have good behavior first. Mute up and shut up. Go ahead, Calvin.
Oh,
quiet.
good evening. I have so much to say. But I'll start where my message I sent before. You recommend that Black people not vote Democrats. Now, let me say this. I am an independent. I do agree that Black people need to reevaluate how they vote in terms of the Democrats because they are definitely failing us in some key areas or whatever that the case may be. But I would definitely not suggest Black people leave the Democratic plantation, as you so call it, or some people call it, and walk to the Republican plantation as if that's a better opportunity for us over there. So, can you tell me what's so bad about from you? I'm sorry, I didn't see the beginning. If you explain why it's bad for us over at the Democrats, what's so wrong with them?
And before anybody answers, hold on. I'm just going to go refill my coffee. Everybody better behave for the next 60 seconds. Go ahead, Andrew.
Sure.
I'm gonna hold it.
So
I'm gonna hold it, guys.
I would just say since the 60s, since the civil rights movement, which was around the 1960s, when Democrats started getting the Black vote, and they've kept it ever since, nothing has gotten better in these inner city communities. Like I said, when this first started in the 1960s,
You just true.
75% of Black homes had a father figure in them. By today, it's down to in inner cities down to 25%. So that's not a small reduction. That's a giant reduction that plays a factor in how kids are brought up, in culture, and directly, where they get to. So I think that trying something else, it can't hurt. You say why don't they? You don't want to vote for Democrats, but you also don't want to go over to the Republican side. But there's no other options.
Well,
what other option do you have?
Well,
You got to pick the lesser of two evils here, and one is really hurting you.
Well, you're just looking at one set of variables, one statistic, the normal talking point that comes from the right. There are other variables or other measures that you can actually look at. Yes, there may be, growth, those negatives that you point out, but there's also
You guys might be hearing
opportunities
Umbreon chirp.
that the Democrat Party does look out for Black people in terms of affirmative action, things of that nature, that sees that Black people aren't being represented in certain areas and like that. And that doesn't come from your party or whatever the case may be. So if we're looking at jobs and opportunities and mobile ability and things of that nature, Republican parties really aren't really looking at out for Black people in that regards. You can even look at the lineup politically or whatever the case to be. There's no representation over there. There's representation with the Democratic. Even with those figures, I do acknowledge we do have those issues, but I'm just saying, if I'm choosing, I would go with the Democrat and work on these specific issues that you address, because at least we have opportunities over here in the Democrats. Now you.
So has anyone noticed anything about the congressional districts that are getting redistricted in all of these redistricting campaigns? Have you noticed anything about the Democratic representatives who are getting their districts taken away? Anything just striking, like come out to you that they all share in common?
They're Black communities.
Yeah, they're all Black representatives.
Sarah,
The Democratic Party is responsible for actually giving black people a voice and actually making them a part of their coalition and actually lifting their voices. The Republicans, just look at who they put in power. Just look at who they want around. I mean, come on. Like this, none of this happens in a vacuum. And you say, oh, since the 1960s. Yeah, what happened in the 1960s? We ended segregation. There's a reason that they're loyal. There's a reason that even though the actual ideological split on all races is about 50-50, there's a reason that overwhelming majorities of both black people and Hispanic people vote Democrat. It's because the right wing is actively hostile to non-white people.
Well, excellent, but you happen to be taking my turn. I was supposed to go next, but and I've known Sarah longer than anybody. Sarah, when you tell your moms and everybody, I've known you 3 years, longer than anybody here. So
Probably
Sarah,
longer than that, Spicoli.
yeah, 2.5.
Hey,
So,
I might have
okay.
you beat there. We're pretty close at
Okay.
least.
I think you guys are
Okay.
about the same time. Yeah.
Okay. So how's my mic set? Pretty good?
Why are you sound like you're underwater all of a sudden?
I don't know. Can you hear me okay?
Now I can.
Okay.
Go ahead, Spicoli.
Here's the deal. Okay, I'm 67. Just Sarah, let me talk for 5 minutes. I don't care if somebody offers me $50 to kick me
5
off.
minutes, dude. Are you fucking kidding me, Spicoli?
Are
you gonna talk about the
Spicoli,
topic?
Yeah.
Spicoli, you get 2 minutes to kick your answer out and let somebody
No.
actually respond.
What I'm saying is, do you want me to answer 75% of your questions, Sarah, in 5 minutes or
Why
not?
don't you start with one?
Okay, let me
point?
start. Let me start. Okay. Here's my point. I am a lifelong Democrat, okay?
Fucking kill me.
An original. And in the 60s, we were not leftists. We were just old school liberals. We were for free speech, and the Republicans were against free speech, right? So we were basically just old school liberals like Bill Maher, etc. Okay. So what happened was, here's what happened. In the 60s, all these hippies became, they started, what happened was in the 70s and stuff, a lot of these like professors at these universities, they went from being just hippies to guess what? Hardcore leftists. And so we've had nothing but hardcore leftists, feminists, the DEI bullshit, and it's all been propagated by feminism and not having enough daddies in the home. We live in a feminized society. So basically, and he's agreeing with me too, right? Andrew's agreeing with me.
Jumping from thing to
Taking my
thing,
points
man.
for
Yeah, he's also schizophrenic. Yeah, you both are.
Yeah.
Let me keep going. What happened was, Sarah,
Yeah, let the
that
stream of
basically-
fucking bullshit keep going.
Hold
Some-
on.
Maybe he has some wisdom from the things he's seen.
Hold on. Spicoli doesn't last very long. You know this, so just let him kick it out.
God, I've known her through. How long have you known this dude? 3 years?
Oh,
No.
dude,
Get to
just
the
get to the
point,
point.
Spicoli.
Okay, here's my point. Here's my
That
point.
fucking
And
matters.
Dude, please just respect me. God, who the hell are you?
I will not be
Anyway,
doing that. I will not respect you.
No, not at all.
All right, everyone stop. Everyone stop. Spicoli, get concise.
Let me finish. So basically what happened was, I haven't voted in the last 3 elections, okay? But I'm happy Trump's president. Basically what happened was, now I consider myself I used to be on the left.
Wow, that's
but
wonderful.
then I moved.
Wow, thank
What
you.
happened was
Thank
the
you,
left
Spicoli.
started
That's so
moving
fascinating.
to the further left, and they became leftist Marxist and shit like that. And basically what's
Wow.
happening now is these people are not liberals. They're anti-liberal. These people are socialist, communist, hardcore leftists. And Andrew's shaking his head. Am I right,
Wow.
Andrew? Yes, sirree. And what's happening now is basically everything shifted to the left. So last year I was literally just center left. Now I'm definitely just independent, right down in the middle. I'm literally right down in the middle. I'm 50% Democrat, 50%, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, Brian. So I'm an old school
I heard
liberal.
that already.
And basically what's happening is, and now I'll just tell you this. You've got now, guess what? The marriage of the radical Islamic Muslims, and you know what? And they've merged with, guess who? The leftists in America. Why?
What are you even
Why would
fucking
they
talking
move?
about?
Why would they move?
True.
Because they hate, they're Jew haters. That's why. Right, Andrew? They hate the Jews. They're anti-Semites. And the
Is
reality
this
is,
conspiratard night? Like,
No, but
maybe
the
it
left
doesn't
does
help
wear
me.
kefiyas and support Palestine. That's a
Andrew,
fact.
have I
He
said-
made
Supporting
everybody
Palestine
he's
is
right,
anti-Semitic?
right?
Hold on.
No, but he said
he's,
that.
he's never going to finish. Can we just move on?
there is no Palestine. It's a fake. There's no Palestinian people.
Spicoli,
Well, they won't be for long.
I can translate.
Go ahead,
Spicoli
John.
just wants to go to. So I think Spicoli just wants to go to a sorority dance as someone's date, someone's hot stuff date. You know, when we look at
You're an
I think
incel.
people are.
Hold on.
That's okay.
Pardon me for just a moment. Hold on. Spicoli, shut the fuck up. Go ahead, Doug.
This is fucking ridiculous.
So I still think that if you look at the Republican and the Democratic Party today, there's no John McCain's in the Republican Party. It's these wise guys who got elected because these Nick Fuentes characters, these militia guys.
Spicoli, shut the fuck up.
They're not Jack Kennedy's, they're not John McCain's, and they actually end up going to this white supremacist rally. They kill this chick, this Heather girl. They run her over with a car, and they use this to get Donald Trump elected somehow. And when you look at the Democrats of today, you see like Governor Newsom isn't pushing California. You see that Nancy Pelosi is still a leader talking about the same stuff, not putting forward radical policies. You don't see another Green New Deal since AOC.
I just want to talk about the topic.
Green New Deal. And so I
Did you
think
smoke crack?
You're comparing apples and oranges. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I said you want to go to like a sorority dance as a date, because I don't think that if you're looking at like the male-female outlets here, I don't think it's symmetrical.
Okay, can I?
Andrew, any thought?
Let me just say one thing. and then
No,
I'm gonna go.
hold
I'm
on,
gonna go.
Spicoli. You're gonna wait. Mute yourself back up.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so I was really surprised. I watched a lot of this on my stream. I prepared the last couple hours I spent researching. I was really surprised that Andrew did apparently no prep for this thing at all. Not even didn't even like Google any arguments. It seems like. I mean, he brought up Abraham Lincoln as one of his examples in the first like 10 minutes. He talked about George Floyd as political violence. Now the reality is that this past year, it is true that left-wing violence has been overrepresented for the first time in 30 years, by the way. It is absolutely ridiculous how disproportionate violence has been for decades. Number one. Number two, he said, I can't even think of any political assassinations from the right. Have you heard of a woman named Melissa Hortman, who was murdered in her home with her husband and her dog? She was the Speaker of the House, I believe, in Minnesota. Okay. And you know who was killed after, or who was attempted to be killed after? Another Democrat lawmaker by the same guy who was dressing up as a police officer, went to her house, shot her husband, her dog, went to another house, shot another congressperson, went to another house, and then was finally apprehended. Okay. This is a political assassination. The Republicans just have completely eviscerated from the public consciousness. It's absolutely insane. Also, by the way, the same day that Charlie Kirk was murdered, there was a school shooting by someone who had been radicalized online by neo-Nazis. So you talk about Nick Fuentes, whether he's a Fed or not, I don't know if he's a fucking Fed, but he's certainly radicalizing young men into neo-Nazism. That's absolutely true. There was the Mormon church shooting, again, by a Trump supporter, a conservative Trump supporter, who shot up a Mormon church because he didn't like their politics or whatever. There's just three examples that are like, what are we even talking about? There's no violence from the right now. Like, yes, we are seeing more from the left. I agree, but like you can't even mention any of these things, or like have you never heard of these things?
No, I say I'm sure there are examples, but these are minor examples compared to the ones that I'm giving. I'm talking about 2 attempts on Trump's life, the president. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk,
not
major
left-wingers.
assassination.
Andrew,
Okay.
the Mormon. Hang on, real quick.
I'm talking about.
The Mormon Church alone, gives a higher kill count than the left, the entire left.
Hold on, Ryan.
I didn't interrupt.
Let
you.
him finish.
Just let me finish.
Thank
So even if I grant you these examples, all of them, if I grant you all these examples, 4 or 5 examples that we haven't verified, it doesn't seem likely to me that someone who shoots up a church ideologically is on the right. That doesn't make sense, right? Like, just think about it for a second.
Okay,
You have
But
no
anyway,
idea what you're talking
even
about.
if I grant all
Okay,
these,
hold on.
I've
Pardon
given
me.
you
I
examples.
apologize, Andrew. I have an incredibly rude fucking panel tonight who doesn't know how to act all of a sudden. Get your shit together and shut your fucking mouth. Stop the interruptions. Let him fucking finish his thought, and then you can add in. For fuck's sake, and finish the fucking dono goal, you little shits. Thank you.
Sorry, keep lying.
Back
Andrew.
Okay, so even if I grant you all these 3 or 4 examples, I gave you examples where this is happening en masse on the left, whether you're talking about firebombing Teslas, whether you're talking about attacking ICE facilities, whether you're talking about rioting in the streets and looting and firebombing cars. Where is this happening en masse in the right? Where is this happening? I'd love to hear it.
So I'm not saying that there's firebombing on the right or whatever. I mean, I'm sure historically there has been, but I'm not blaming the right for the Tesla bombings or for the Michigan House Republicans who were also targeted in a firebombing in March. These are two examples, right? Two examples, okay, of this year, right? I'm just telling you because you don't even know these things exist. I'm telling you about the actual politicians who were murdered just a few months ago that you had no clue about. You didn't know who this person was. You didn't, and you're saying.
But I granted it to you. But I'm saying the overwhelming, and I even said this to Sarah.
And you're not substantiating that. Wait, how come? Now you're going to interrupt me? Now you're interrupting me after. Okay.
Continue.
Be polite. Be polite. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, additionally, if you prepared for this at all, then what you probably would have found was the CSIS report, right? Which gives the example.
That's the one I found.
Okay, we didn't even.
Yeah.
Maybe you mentioned in the last 20 minutes, but you didn't mention it for the first fucking 40 minutes of this for some reason. But this is like the strongest argument that there is like an influx.
That's the one I was citing that said that the violence had come higher for the left the first time in 30 years.
Okay,
I couldn't find it because it's dark in here. It's the CSIS study. It's
okay,
the
well, congratulations. Now we all know. Okay, thank you. Okay, so if you were aware of the CSIS report, then you would know that it only there's 5 examples of plots that they're referring to, and 1 right-wing one, right? 5 left ones and 1 right-wing one. So when you say the overwhelming, you're not. This is just specifically a very specific kind of violence, right? If you zoom out and look at other reports about, including the CSIS reports, by the way, especially for the past decades, also, which have, again, overwhelmingly right-wing violence. Every single CSIS report from before this year shows you that right-wing violence is way overrepresented. But if you looked at this, you would know that there's 153 other incidents that are about anti-immigration, they're racist attacks, they're like crazy libertarian people. There's people and also people on ICE, and there are people from all across the political spectrum. But to just paint this as a left-wing problem is fucking insane. Political violence right now is through the roof, but it's just not only a left-wing thing. You've just been lying all night.
Yeah, I'm lying, but you've yet to give. You gave like 2 or 3 examples. I asked you where it's happening en masse on the right. Mass examples of people committing violence, cities being boarded up. Where is this happening? You must account for this, as my claim wasn't that there's no political violence coming from the right. As me and Sarah clarified in the beginning, that was never my claim. My claim was the vast majority of it comes from the left or from liberal policies or from left-wing areas. I don't know where you live. I live in a right-wing area on Long Island. I can literally go outside right now with $100 bills hanging out of my pocket and walk down the street. Can you do that? Can you do that in a left-wing city? I can do it right now. And if there's someone behind me, they'll come up behind me and be like, "Here, sir, you dropped your $100 bill." Like, and this is not mine. I heard this. Like, I don't want to steal another commentator's thing, but it's true. It's actually true. I can do it.
This seems like
does this have to do with political violence?
Levitt,
Go ahead, Doug.
This seems just like Carolyn Levitt standing in front of a microphone and feeding people shit. I have no idea what this has to do with political violence. I have no idea what's something that people in the United States, since the inception of the United States, have warned against doing, which is basically making yourself a target or something, has to do with people feeling safe in their community. And so this is just another way to amplify a very narrow version of what actually the world is like, versus having a discussion or a dialogue. If you want to have a discussion or a dialogue, do it the right way.
If I can interrupt just for a moment, because finally my chat fucking listens to me, and they didn't want to see me turn into a completely raging tomato, but I will go ape shit even more if I need to, because you're halfway there on the dono goal. Iotan, of course, salute to you, miss, says, "Yes, ma'am. You're very welcome. Thank you. Absolutely." Casual Crypt is now officially scared to bejesus. Apparently, you guys like it when I yell, or maybe you don't like it when I yell. And shout out to Orthodox Guy for the raid. Thank you so kindly for the love. Alexander sends 10 as fear taxes. I apologize if I put the scare factor in all of you, but I will continue to do so if needed. Texas Grown says, yeah. Well, you sent it, so obviously it worked. And Iotin says, my share for the conversation. The last one was just fair. Fair enough. And Alexander asks a question here. I want to save it for last so we can get into it. Can we get a definition of how Andrew knows whether something is left-wing or right-wing violence? Is it based on which party the person is from or who celebrates or what? Andrew, to you.
Yeah, it's definitely, it depends. You can't give one over-encompassing answer because this is such a complex problem. And that's what I was trying to explain. Is it the radical coder who thinks I'm so dumb, but can't go a couple levels deep to understand how making a city more dangerous through policies is actually a form of attack. And I don't know what the other guy's name is that said something about putting a target on my back or something. Like, I don't know, man, but what I'm saying is I know I'm a self-defense instructor, so I look every day at what's safe around me. I'm aware of these things, and it's clear when you're in a right-wing area that you're much safer than when you're in an area run by the left. We could test this hypothesis. If you guys would like to put some money on it, I would place a wager as to who would last longer with $100 bills hanging out of their pocket. Me here or you in some left-wing inner city? Like, we could test.
What does this mean, though?
What it means is that the policies that are brought down create and foster a system that's more dangerous, an area that's more dangerous and prone to violence. Criminals flock there because the DAs are not prosecuting crime.
So there are many cities that aren't just run by one party, right? They flip. So like as soon as say New Orleans elects a Republican mayor, the city's safer just by that, you're saying?
Remember Giuliani in New York?
So it's just default because of what they are. It's just a compositional thing that you're saying.
I'm saying that Republicans are more a party of law and order, and Democrats are more a party of no bail. And is that not the case?
The felon.
Oh, you mean
so
Trump
it's not
that
the case.
Never
it's
smoked
just a
or
meme,
drank
dude.
a day in his life? Never smoked or drank a day in his life, and whose kids are well put together, always well put together, don't smoke or drink. And then you got Biden, who's got
you
a
really
gun
want to use
to a
Trump as
hooker's
an
head,
example?
smoking crack, and you're going to tell me Trump is like a bad guy? Biden,
well, yeah, I mean, he was
gun to a hooker's head. Like, and
he was
you guys
found,
are like the high horse. You guys have the moral ground on Trump.
Well, he was found civilly liable of assaulting someone, literally grabbing her by the pussy.
That's nonsense.
Okay,
it's not nonsense.
Let me interrupt since you guys are all starting to talk. Almighty Nate, welcome back. Almighty Nate, missed you. Says duck crash out will happen tonight. And of course, Captain KB, another lady friend in our chat. I'm so excited they're making their way in. Sending tomatoes just to send some love. I'm getting happier by the minute, but of course my favorite red color on the screen makes me the happiest tomato, and everyone has a pleasant time. Alexander says, wait, Spicoli, shut up. And if anybody would like to do me a favor, you already know what that favor is. Backstage, I've got Josh Stacy waiting patiently, who actually can offer something to the topic. You know what to do. Alexander says, wait, so this is just feelings and how you feel in major cities. You define left-wing violence as who runs the areas that are more dangerous. Isn't this just a major city problem?
No, this is just one part of it. This is just one, like I said, this is a complex issue. And if you guys were watching, we went through the whole every part. Whether you're talking about political assassinations, whether, I don't know what this means, whether you're talking about political assassinations, whether you're talking about violence in the streets, where like looting and firebombing, actual violence in the streets, destruction of property, billions of dollars only coming from one side. Where is this coming from the right? Wherever.
I literally gave you an example, dude. You didn't even know about the Republican who assassinated Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota.
So does that mean that you win the debate? Is that
you had no fucking clue? You are in such an echo chamber. You weren't even aware that Melissa Hortman was killed by a Republican. You didn't even know she died. You didn't even know who she was.
You won? Like, where is this happening on mass and on the
your
right?
big argument has been about structural violence. If you want to talk, let me hear about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we all had better manners than that.
Example.
I will. I want to respond. You want to talk about structural violence, right? You want to talk about policies. Hang on. You want to talk about policies making things more dangerous? Let's talk about how Republicans gutting Medicaid and not extending the ACA subsidies is going to lead to 50,000 deaths every year of Americans unnecessarily. 50,000 people will die because of Republican policies. And you want to talk about structural violence? Let's talk about that.
How many people lost? How many people lost their health insurance because of the ACA?
If you're going through people are
I'm battling on your turf.
This is not looking good, bro. I'm asking you where it's coming on a mass scale. My claim was it's coming mostly, overwhelmingly from the left. You gave one example and tried to say that's my point. Is that there's one example.
Name a political figure on the right who's been assassinated this year.
Charlie Kirk.
Is this
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A representative.
No, why does it have to be a representative?
One representative.
The largest political assassin.
One representative.
Kennedy, the guy
One representative.
Right, I'm not allowed to use
just
that
one
as an example.
Name a single representative.
Come on.
And allow me to interrupt, gentlemen, because my favorite
This is no true Scotsman fallacy. You're not going to take the main conservative that was assassinated.
Is on the screen, so I must interrupt all of you for this moment. Alexander is my hero, my absolute hero. Spicoli can go home for the night. Spicoli, you cannot come back this evening. You are done for the night. So thank you for playing. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Alexander says. Also, Andrew, how do you know that the assassin was left-wing? You still haven't given me a single standard by which to judge or determine it. Does the target have to be on the right? Does the actor have to be on the left? And if everyone else can shut up and allow Andrew the space to answer, thank you.
Sure. Let me answer this one specifically because I think you asked this before. It's case by case. So we have to be able to look with a critical mind on a case by case situation. That's the only way to do this is every case is going to present different variables. If you take the Charlie Kirk shooter, he had a trans girlfriend that he was living with this left-wing ideology, clearly, as well as is that not the case? As well as the messages that were written on the bullets, fascist catch or this or that, like whatever messages they put on the bullets, as well as the parents told police that he was leaning more and more left in his political views at Thanksgiving. He was like fighting with them about right-wing stuff. So we have all this evidence that shows us that it's political violence. Like we don't have to guess. And it's the same when you have a trans shooter that shoots up like the New Covenant Christian school. This is political violence, whether they want to classify it and they don't. And that's why Radical Coder pulls these stats like it's always been more left than right because this stuff doesn't get classified, but it hasn't. And there's no examples en masse. Again, like I could tell you left-wing violence, like you're asking, is Antifa in the streets? Is BLM? This is
BLM is left-wing violence. The largest civil rights protest in American history is political violence.
They were burning down cities. Yes. They caused billions of dollars.
I mean, there were some people burning shit down. I agree with that.
Police stations.
What city did they burn down?
Yeah, what city burned down?
No, what city did they burn down? You said they
were
burned down a city. What city did they burn down?
You said cities.
No, you said they burned down a city.
He's a fucking weasel, dude. This guy's a pathetic loser. What a fucking loser.
What a joke.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this for a moment because I can't believe I've had to actually settle you not you, Andrew. You're being very fine. What the fuck is wrong with you tonight? All of you.
I got him riled.
You know better. You fucking know better.
This fucking lying loser's been lying all night. It's annoying. It's exhausting listening to this fucking lying loser lie all the time. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Lying about what?
Pretty much everything.
Ryan, I get it, but that doesn't mean you yell over people.
I think I've waited my turn most of the time.
You wait for your turn to respond, and then you say what the fuck you're gonna say.
I feel like most of this time that I've joined in, it's been when there was a moment of silence. A couple times I've interrupted, but most of the time I've been waiting for what I thought was a moment of silence, and then there are other people talking. But I think I'm trying to wait my turn just fine.
Go ahead, Andrew. Back to what you were saying.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting to hear where this is happening en masse on the right. Like you can be angry about it that this is the case. I'm not happy that it's the case either. It just so happens that when Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, cities are not boarded up. Why is that? Why
I have
did
a
no one,
question.
Ducky, who wanted to say that this doesn't happen, how come no one boarded up their cities?
Because Charlie
How
Kirk was a
come no
one-off
one
event,
boarded
not,
up-
not
Wait,
something that had been
hold on,
boiling up to
Hold on.
No, because the
He's gonna ask
right
more
had
questions,
prayer
so.
vigils. They didn't burn any cities in any capacity. I'm not saying the entire city was burned down. I know you're trying to catch me on a technicality, but I'm saying cities were boarded up, New York included. I live here. I was here for the BLM riots. Cities were boarded up. Property was destroyed. Are you disputing that? So I've answered your questions. I'm still waiting for someone to answer where there is political violence happening en masse, not one example, on a mass scale, as I have provided this to you on the right. Where is this happening?
And I believe, Calvin, you were trying to chime in on something. Did I hear you properly?
Yeah, he keeps using this BLM right thing. I see a lot of right wingers use this as a means to combat this issue or paint
they're
the
fucking liars.
left as more violent. So I have a question for him. Well, to me, I don't consider the BLM as political violence. I consider that as social violence, if anything, if you're going to call it violence, because it's more like a social, I guess, response. I have the 1992 Watch riot. This was the uprising in Los Angeles that resulted in years of years of mistreatment by the police and racist policies with housing that had to do with Black people. We had the 1968 MLK riot, which was Black people acting out to misjustice and things of that nature. And we also had the 1967 Newark riots. Another situation where a Black man was cab driver was killed by beaten by police officers. All these instances resulted in Black people rioting. So my question to you, the 1960s, the 1992, all these different riots that I listed out to you, do you consider those political violence when Black people were responding to, I guess, the oppression that was put upon them?
Yeah, absolutely. And I even granted this earlier. We were talking about this. It hasn't always been the case that this, I'm talking about now, right? So we can go back to the 60s. Yeah, there was lynchings, there was things that were happening, but that's not today. Today is a clearly different climate, and clearly the violence is happening from a different place.
He's not even
I'll grant you that's fine. That's not the prompt. Like,
he wasn't talking about the fucking 60s.
It happened in the 60s,
he
maybe
misspoke
even
at
in
one
the
point.
90s. That was 30 years ago. I'm talking about today. Where is the violence today? And again, you're proving my point by only citing examples from up to 30 years ago, all the way back to 60, 70 years ago, citing sources that there isn't one
Aaron.
from today. That's my point. I don't know why you guys are so mad at me. I'm not like picking this because it's like my choice. I'm just calling it like I see it.
Well,
we could talk about January 6th, which you also lied about a shit ton.
We talked about
You
it.
really don't want to do that one, Ryan. You're
The
gonna lose.
I know
insurrection
quite a
with
bit
no
about it,
weapons,
so.
the only insurrection in history with no weapons.
my
Some
point-
insurrection.
Let me engage with that specific claim, and then I'll yield to whatever. But like the Oath Keepers literally had what they called a quick response force across the river in a hotel room, described as one of them described it as the largest weapon stash he'd seen since he was in the military. And they literally brought this because they planned to go into the Capitol and hold people hostage if they needed to, because they believed
didn't they?
that the election was stolen from them.
Yeah, Andrew.
Why didn't they? So you're saying there was some weapons in a hotel room
A
somewhere?
massive weapon stash.
There was no
yes.
weapons brought to, a massive.
That's
weapon
also not
stash
true.
Nearby.
There
was
were
no
knives.
weapons
There were
in the
knives. There
Capitol.
was mace. There were zip ties.
no
There were
firearms at the
yeah,
Capitol.
lots of weapons. What are you talking about?
The only insurrection in modern history with no firearms. I don't care if there was firearms in a stash house somewhere blocks away. Why?
Because
didn't they bring
you
them?
don't care about the reality of what happened that
Sure
day,
that
because
you
you're a
need
fucking
weapons.
lying
No,
loser.
you're not
Yeah.
looking at reality. They didn't bring them. Is if I go somewhere and I have a gun at my house, can they be like, oh, he has
It wasn't
a gun
at their
his
house. They brought it to the
No matter
right
where,
across
if
the
I
river
have
from
it
the
in my
Capitol,
car,
dude.
am I responsible? For
Yeah, you just have no idea. You're not even aware of this. You weren't even aware of what the Oath Keepers did.
It's not relevant to the.
Do you even know who the Oath Keepers are?
That they have weapons. Yeah, it's a right wing militia group that you're talking about.
Yeah, who planned to overthrow the fucking Capitol.
But they didn't. They didn't bring the guns. So if I plan to rob a bank and I have a gun and it's at my stash house and I don't bring it, can I get charged with armed robbery?
They didn't need the guns. They got in. They broke in. They busted
certainly
in.
But
get
you're
convicted
blaming
for
them for
seditious
bringing the
conspiracy.
guns. My point
They
was
brought them
it's an
for a
insurrection with
reason.
no
They didn't
guns.
bring them to go shooting later. They didn't bring them to do target practice. You fucking God. I can't
They
use
didn't
words like
bring
that.
them to shoot them.
They didn't need to use. They didn't need to use them to do that. They got in. They got into the Capitol. They beat the shit out of cops. They broke into the Capitol.
Let them in. The Capitol Police literally said, "Come on in." It's on video.
After they beat the shit out of them and broke through the barricade.
Ever.
You have no idea what you're talking about, or you're just lying.
No,
A lot of you guys
right.
do this.
It is on video.
I'm 100%.
Yeah, it is. You can watch them beat the shit out of cops. Yeah, for hours.
Bullshit. Prove me.
Yeah, show it to us.
Make a video of them beating cops for hours. $100, Ryan.
Okay, I'm sorry. The video's made an hours long.
$100 on that because it was happening.
That's just your claim. I'm just saying to hold you to your claim.
Sorry,
I know
they
this
beat
is, like, hard
cops
to
for
hear and
maybe
hard
an
to
hour.
accept, but-
I
Show
wanted
me
to
one
hand.
example of them beating the cops.
Wait, one example of beating the cops?
Let me back up. How many cops died on January?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. You're going to move off that because you know they were beating the shit out of cops.
It was 0.
Which is why you're moving.
Show me the
One cop
video.
died the next day, and the medical examiner said that contributed, but
0.
I'd like to
And how
hand the
many
floor
cops were killed
over
in BLM
to
protest?
Alexander. Did you want to bring a thought into the panel, sir?
Yeah, I don't see a reason why we have to relitigate all the older stuff. I mean, I feel like we can stay on point without going back to January 6th at the moment.
That's all they got.
That I don't know how necessarily true that is, but
I'm waiting.
I guess my problem with your statement
thank you, Aaron.
of using a critical eye to determine which side someone is on. The critical eye is going to depend very much on who's observing with it. And pretty much, I think when Charlie Kirk was shot, within about 2 minutes, it was said that it was a trans shooter. And it was a leftist. And then it pretty much just went on from there. Nobody had any clue who actually did the shooting. Nobody had any clue of what actually happened. But that was the immediate narrative from the start. And it turned out to not be true. Although kind of in part, there was a trans person tangentially related to the matter. How do you just say that that it's a left wing or that it's left wing violence without having like some direct connection to the left wing creating it? Is like any individual shooter considered left-wing violence, or do you need some sort of conspiracy or some group planning an action to do it?
Well, like I said, like this guy had a note that he left under his keyboard. Like he had spoken about this previously. So like even his own parents say it. So like I don't know where like they always want to like. But even if I grant you, like I don't care about the individual cases.
He's not
like,
responding.
He
no
never
one
talked
is
about
denying-
politics and any of that.
Hold on, just let him finish.
Okay, so let's just go real simple here. Like
So-
whoever said before about the Trump thing, like that was a right winger that tried to assassinate Trump. Like, isn't that just dumb on its face? Like, were you the worst right winger
No.
ever? Yeah, you don't get it. That's why you're clearly not a right winger. If you're
Don't
trying
we
to
have
kill
never
right
Trumpers?
wingers, what type of right winger are you?
Don't we
You're the
have
worst
never
right-winger
Trumpers?
ever. Huh? So it's
Yeah,
right.
you would assume that the people who love guns a lot will be the place where you'll find more crazy
Andrew,
people who love guns
Andrew,
a lot.
do we have never Trumpers?
Yeah, but they're not going around trying to kill Trump. That's stupid. That's
How do
like
you know that?
how do I
Please.
know it?
May I give you one piece of information that you should be aware
Sure.
of? One of the people who attempted, the one who was caught at the golf course, right? That person literally wrote an ebook about how he regretted his support for Trump. He was literally an ex-Trump supporter.
Yeah, I'm aware. They like to go after these people that are politically ambiguous to get them to do these things. So like you'll also
Hold on.
find
To
You'll
get them to
also
do what?
find. Let me finish. Just allow me to
The
finish.
Cope is crazy.
You'll also find
No.
that he made contributions to Democrat Party. So they'll find people that, and they use this. This is by
Different guy.
design. That's what I'm trying to explain.
The way
to you.
you're
No,
using
it's not
it?
true. He was just on the right. He was
Different
he was
guy.
He was a right winger that tried to kill the leader of the right wing movement. Does that make sense to you?
Are you
Yes, in
alleging
your
an
head that-
actual? Hold on, Andrew. Are you alleging an actual conspiracy here?
I'm saying that when people try to kill us and
What-
we're on the
no,
right,
hold on.
it's coming from the other side, dude.
Hold on. You
Obviously.
just said they like to find people
Mhm.
who are ambiguous. Who's they?
Yeah, so I do think, and we spoke about this a little bit about the Charlie Kirk thing. I do think that there is a higher. I don't know exactly who it is, but there is someone that puts this stuff together, and they do go after these people that may have like weird sexual stuff going on
Every time,
online, because they are. It's the same as like an Epstein thing. They're easier to control, right? And if you look at the guy, me and Sarah spoke about this, that stood up when Charlie got shot and was like, "I did it, I did it." when the cops got him later, I don't know, Radical Coder, if you know this, this is verified true. He had child porn on his phone. He didn't want to give his phone to the cops. So why is it that guy stood up and said, it's me? Don't you think it's more likely that somebody said to him, someone found that on his computer and said,
Andrew,
do
again,
this?
I can give you more information that you clearly don't know. Sure. That guy has been involved in other putting himself in insane situations before.
He was at 9/11. He was at multiple of these, which is also proves my point. That's what I'm trying to say. It's all by design.
But I know
the chances of him being at all those events, they did the math.
Now we're in conspiracy
1 in 2 billion. Yeah. No, Radical Coder brought it up. What other events was he at? You're making
there was a protest a couple years ago that he was in, where he was like making a scene and trying to get himself arrested.
Ryan, can I?
He's also at 9/11, dude.
Yeah, go ahead. Did so.
Real quickly, Andrew. Thank you, Sarah, again for having me. A pleasure being here. I'm going to go quick on this, Andrew. Quick question. You ascribed a social progressive ideology to the leftists. Is this exclusive to United States or is this a worldwide phenomenon?
It's definitely going on in the United States and Europe. And, this is what you get, like progressive by its definition.
Don't give me a long story.
Fuck you, angry man, you dumb bitch.
And you gave me the answer. Second question.
Sure.
In the last 30 years up to today, can you tell me one elected leftist government that has pushed progressive ideals?
One elected leftist government that pushed progressive ideals? Mm-hmm. What about here in the United? Here in the United States.
No, worldwide. Now that you mentioned
I wanted to see me calling him a bitch.
At least mention one.
Yeah, in the United States.
Worldwide. Which one?
So Germany, right? They're having major problems in a lot of countries in Europe. Germany, in the UK, they're having major problems from leftist policies that were brought in for immigration. They're finding that you can't just bring in a whole separate population and expect it to work the same as the population that's there currently. So this is a direct result of Europe being even further left. Canada's the same. Canada, a lot of the times, is a little bit ahead of us in their leftist progressive policies. And look at what they do there. They're freezing truckers' bank accounts that weren't following the COVID laws. So you're so close to tyranny. Again, I don't see this stuff happening on the right. Go ahead.
Apart from the fact that you've just mentioned something completely and utterly wrong in the matters of migration in Germany, but that's a conversation for another day. Let's base ourselves on this conversation in regards of leftism violence and political violence in general.
Damn, quick question.
Can't even
say fuck you.
In the last 2 years, there has been well over 752 threats of bombing. There has been several hundreds of assaults to clinics. Here's the data from
I can't say fuck you, bitch.
Years.
I can't say that.
So basically, you
can't say in our chat apparently.
15 cases of arson against abortion clinics. You had 750 threats of bombing to abortion clinics just in the United States. This is data from the United States. Okay, just in the last 2 years. From 23 to 24. So you also had countless other forms of psychological as well as physical violence.
Damn, I'm really
directed
mad right
in
now.
that. So who are the anti-abortion people? Whose political party are they more inclined into?
So I didn't hear the exact stats. So what you're saying is that Christians, right-wing Christians, are firebombing abortion clinics. How many did you say?
Yes.
Did you cite that again?
Well, in the last from the moment Roe versus Wade happened to today, there has been 11 bombings to clinics. Sorry, 11 murders of people who worked in abortion clinics. 752 bombings. And just in the last recent years, 2 years, 23 and 24, the threats of bombings matched the actual bombings that happened in the span of that. And I'm telling you, this is from the moment the Supreme Court made its decision, and this is coming from the NAF, the National Abortion Federation, released its statistics. 750 cases of destruction of a clinic, nearly 300 death threats or threats of harm, more than 600 cases of trespassing, and countless other forms of violence directed to clinical abortion clinics. Isn't that also a political violence motivated, especially and particularly for one class of individual that has a major inclination or a political inclination?
Are you familiar with eugenics?
Fuck me.
Do you know what
eugenics
is?
Fuck, this guy.
Do you know why they say you brought up
yes
abortion clinics, sir? You brought up.
Like, how are we supposed
clinics.
to?
So you're going to take an example
He has no
where
fucking
they murder 1 million babies per year, right? So 60 million babies since the date that you're talking about.
Just completely
10 times the number of the Holocaust.
God, it's so disgusting.
And you're going to say 11 people were killed trying to stop that, so we caused the violence? 60 million aborted babies? That's your position?
Dude, what a
Those
fucking...
And we're causing the violence? 60 million aborted babies? There's 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
We
60 million babies.
A conversation with something that is such bad faith that
How's
does
that bad
not
faith?
approach the analysis. You move the goalpost. I wasn't asking about abortion. I was only indicating
you brought up abortion.
In the last 2 years, the violence towards clinic abortions have been those numbers.
What about the violence committed inside the clinics?
I'm looking at that report.
Count?
Why are you lying about it? I'm looking at that report. Why are you lying about it?
1 million a year is the estimate for abortions.
Again, we weren't talking about abortion. We're talking about political violence. You asked for.
You brought up abortion.
Well, I think Wyatt, tuning in from the toilet, wants to chime in here. Like it took me a second, but hold on.
The fire alarm, Sarah.
I gotta bring this up. He's totally tuning in from the toilet. I hope. Are you actually on the toilet? Or are you just sitting in there?
Yes, I am, Sarah. I'll vouch for that.
Giga Chad.
It's the only part of my apartment that I don't have that
apparently
loud ass alarm going.
Oh my goodness! You know, batteries usually fix that problem.
Well, yeah. I gotta get a hold of the management tomorrow. I gotta think of something
I don't even get that one.
Fair enough. What did you want to add in there? I saw you
I
raise your
want
hand.
to add into Andrew. Abortion is legal. I'll put it this way.
Firebombing abortion clinics is not legal.
I'm not quite an old school Democrat. I know I appreciate. I'm also ex-military. I don't bring up that much. But Andrew, abortion is legal. Why in the blue hell are you trying to propagate about abortion?
I just want to come on. I just want to get on and do a closing statement.
Talking about the left or right violence,
I agree.
Political violence. It's been primarily on the right.
I don't
for
hear the
decades.
chirp.
I'll be the first to say that.
So let me answer. So one, something being legal is not the arbiter of whether or not violence is committed there. The Nazi death camps were legal in Nazi Germany. It's not. It's not
always
valid
popping
that means that
the
it's
silent
not violent.
donos. What
and all I'm saying is, where is the
Baxter
actual?
Boy.
From like I said, I'm a self-defense instructor. Let's take the politics
man.
out of it. Where is the actual violence being committed at an abortion clinic? Who is being aborted? Like, that is actually happening, and we can't just skip over it. Whether or not it's legal, it's a violent act. Often,
it's not a violent act.
You're being disingenuous.
Why don't you take your head out of your ass?
Extremely disingenuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him that so.
Does it cause death?
Allow me.
Does it cause death? What do you consider violent?
You don't allow me my turn.
I have a calm statement. I'm gonna come on.
Board.
Whenever someone gets kicked, I'm next. I'm gonna come back and say one thing, and I'm done.
Share to our friend Todd. Get off the cross beneath the fucking wood.
Well, I think what Andrew is insinuating is that due to left-leaning policies, abortion is a legal thing.
Not just left-leaning, by the way.
Right? And due to that,
Republicans mostly support abortion too.
Because it's viewed from the rights standpoint as a violent act, it is considered murder, right? That's what he is. That's what he is insinuating.
Okay, hold on.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you one question. I'll prove
Me too,
the point.
Josh. They don't
if
need
you
me, though.
murder a pregnant woman, why do you get charged with double murder?
Because We don't know if she's going to abort the fetus. That's
what is the
problem.
relevance of that?
When you're doing
what
that,
is her intentions? The relevance of whether
the
or
law
not it's
only
murder.
cares if she wanted to
that
keep
she's
the
going to
child.
carry the child full term.
So what
That's
the mother
why.
wants determines whether or
Yes.
not that's murder.
By law, yes.
Look,
But does that make
is
logical sense as to whether or not it's violence?
That is
Yeah.
as absurd as felony murder. But the problem is, Andrew, you
Hold
have
on.
been disingenuous because the
can I
question
interrogate
was
this
in
for just a
regards to
second?
political violence.
Stop interrupting him.
And in regards to political balance, the matter of fact is that you've had bombings, murders, etc., all directed to clinical, to abortion clinics. The question of abortion is not in debate right now. You just decided to go that way because you wouldn't answer.
It's too
the
easy.
The majority of people, before you interrupt, the majority of people that are committing these actions against clinical abortion, what is their political inclination?
I know.
And the answer is conservative Republican.
Again, I'm just
Because
gonna make my
then
closing
you
statement,
see
and then I'm
that
gonna bounce.
even in the last
I think
2 years,
I'm,
you've still had a continuous
after that,
activity in that sense. Now, the thing about political violence, unfortunately, your view, and I proved this on the first initial question, is extremely obtuse. You ascribed a progressivism to leftism in the whole world. You said then, well, Europe and the United States, of course, I knew you would answer that. But I could challenge that any day of the week with many other examples in the last 30 years with other elected governments that are clearly conservative leftism. And that de Ortega, de Maduro, de Fidel Castro, I can give you so much historical value that leftism has been more inclined into social conservative values, and that the issues of progressivism in the United States is far more diverse than just leftism. That is a question of analysis. Hold on, and then with
you
this,
just named a bunch of failed states: Venezuela,
my man,
Maduro.
You wouldn't have.
It's not listening.
Sorry to say it this way, and it may
Cuba.
sound arrogant. You wouldn't be able to stand on your 2 feet on a depth conversation regarding those countries, the realities of those countries, the history of those countries. You would be incapable of having that conversation with me on a one-on-one basis. So let's not go there. But the point being here is that your world is so obtuse that the only possibility that you have of you is repeating empty slogans without any depth. The violence and the political violence in the United States is not an issue of left or right. And throughout your history, hell, the last 60 some odd years, one president assassinated, several attempted killings. Senators and congressmen of either side of the aisles have been assassinated or attempted to be assassinated, either Republican or Democrats. In the most recent time, you had 2 Minnesota lawmakers, Democrats, assassinated by somebody of the right. And then you had Charlie Kirk, a prominent right-wing loudmouth who loved to talk about issues, get himself killed by somebody who, at this stage, it's undefined what his political stance
So
was.
you just said all these people like that we don't even know their names were killed by people on the right, like it was definitive since the 60s. This is happening on the right, firebombed, 11 people murdered, this and that, and Charlie Kirk, but the jury's still out. Like that just goes to show that
we didn't say that at all.
Is biased. Give me I've been defending and answering your questions. It's my I've been answering questions, but no one has given me one.
Which guy, Ditso? I don't know if Ditso has a channel, but he should.
He gave 11 deaths since 1960. I turned around and gave him 60 million deaths. Mine don't count. His count. I'm saying, where is this happening en masse? En masse on the right. Show me an example. Show me an example of a right-wing group of people en masse committing violence.
Please
Where
tell
is
us
it?
you're not that you're stupid, but without saying
Just
that
show it
part
to
out
me.
loud, okay?
You could call me stupid, but just show it.
Hold on.
We've shown it. You goddamn dick flute.
Where?
He is a dick flute.
Guys, we don't need to get upset, okay?
Hostile.
This is a question of definitions, all right? He's defining abortion as left-wing violence.
I don't need
So
that.
by-
It's just I can.
No,
I'll
no,
give
no,
you that.
hold on,
I'll
hold
grant
on.
you that.
I mean, get
Hold
worked
on.
up.
Alex
Let-
Cook.
Andrew
Stop
doesn't want to
fucking
That's my
admit
position. I'm
now.
just saying what he
that
said.
Excuse
legal.
me. I'm sorry. If I'm fucking talking, you are not. Finish the fucking goal, chat. Thank you. What the fuck? Alexander, you may continue, please.
So if you're going to define, if you are going to define abortion as left-wing violence, that there's no measure through which there's anything even remotely compatible by anyone since the dawn of mankind, right?
Then I win the debate.
Well,
You cooked it. So.
then you'd have to argue
Thank
and
you.
make it. Well, you're going to have to prove that that's a valid argument then.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
The problem is you're talking about violence, right? I don't know what your definition of violence is, but for the most part, I mean,
when
what
someone
You
about
see
dies,
where this is going,
what about
right?
what about spontaneous abortions? Are those
I don't
violence?
know, man. It's not relevant.
Yeah, of course he
Does that
doesn't
make
know.
any
He doesn't know
woman
fucking know anything
who
about what he's talking
lost
about.
her child a murderer by your definition?
No,
Why?
because there's
That's
a
an abortion.
procedure that goes in. Like, obviously, by
Hold on,
definition,
that's
if
scary.
it causes death, it's violence. Like, I don't know what we're arguing here. If it causes death, and I don't even care about
But
the
he ignores my
abortion issue.
my
I
stuff
don't
about
need
Medicare,
this
right?
issue to win
Then-
the debate. I don't need any
No, I wasn't
specific
talking about
issue.
the
You can
abortion.
have the
I was
assassinations. You can have
Okay,
the
hold on.
abortions. Where do
Hold
you
on.
want me to argue? You want to do the property destruction?
If you want to
I agree,
drop
Freddie.
the, if you
on
wanna
the-
how do
drop
you
the
define
abortion,
But
political
just let me make one
violence?
point about the abortions. It is a left-wing issue, and it's even more insidious because it's so sick. It's the sacrifice of a child on the altar of selfishness. So to
What
sit there and say it's not
percentage
violent,
of
on the altar of the
Republicans
self,
support
we're
you're
abortion?
talking about
sacrificing a child,
political violence,
and you
here,
only
right?
do that on the left. So if you
How do
want
you
to bring
define
that into the
political
debate,
violence,
we can.
and what are its characteristics?
Oh,
Based
41%.
on what do you define
In
political
all or most
violence?
cases. Wow,
Please
that's
provide
crazy.
a source.
I think
Uh,
he's
Use
saying
any
we're,
definition you
or
want.
no,
he's
no.
saying
Please.
He
he's
has like
saying we're
50K
dropping
subs.
the
He's not known.
abortion
I mean-
thing, so we can.
Yeah,
No,
I'll,
no,
I'll
I-
grant you whatever you want. You tell me, I'll grant
Again,
it.
And
Let me-
I will take a
before-
moment to interrupt, and then I'll hand it back to you, Ditso, and hopefully you will be able to continue uninterrupted. Chib sends 5 just to
It
say,
is if they
Andrew,
take
I
away your
subscribed
healthcare,
to you after
Fuzzy.
your last debate with Craig. Keep crushing these crazies. Which Craig? Was it FTFE?
Yeah, I debated him twice. Yeah,
Nice.
based.
Craig's
Craig.
so funny.
yeah.
And Jason Reeves, of course, wanted to see me smile because he knows how angry and irritated I'm getting at everybody interrupting each other. And my favorite color on screen makes me so much happier.
I also love that.
Thank you,
color, guys,
Jason.
just so you know.
Put all of the
any
tomatoes in
colors,
that
really.
chat to light it up for Jason and say thank you. Thank you. Ditso, I'll kick it back to you and you can kick us
Thank
off.
you. First, Andrew, and this is a rhetorical question because I can provide the
taking away
answer
SNAP is violence.
both in Spanish and English in both systems. But
Against
can you please
fucking
define
Republicans, by
and
the way,
what
mostly.
characteristics are of political violence?
Yeah, so like I said, I'll grant you any definition you want. What I'm talking about usually is violence that's carried out either to a person, property, property destruction, any type of violence. It could be a financial attack, a property destruction, a physical attack on a person or property that has a political motive. So like before someone had said like it's a social motive, I don't see what the difference is. That to me is just like a cop out, like, oh, this is a social motive because it's on the right, but this is a political motive because it's on the left. It's all political, right? It's all political.
What
If
is
people
the
are killing
definition of
each other
political?
over these social issues.
How do you define political? What is the meaning of the word political? What does
Yeah, so
the
so
word
political
political entail?
Yeah, it comes from policies,
Not the
social
Peterson.
policies. So politics are downstream.
I made that argument
of
earlier,
social
but
issues.
he
They're
laughed that one
and the
off.
same. You can't have a huge social issue coming up that doesn't affect politics, where one side
So
wants
you're
it and the other. They're
Austin
directly
Kaczynski.
connected. That's what I'm saying. So like
So
saying that
you're
it's a social
ascribing-
issue.
You're ascribing the
You
definition
can't include
of
anything
politics
right from the right
on
wing.
the etymological
It'll all be
level,
dismissed,
correct?
so.
Yes or no?
I'm saying, are we
Are
like
you
this is what we're
defining
doing?
politics?
I'll grant you
Yes or
whatever
no? I don't
definition
want a
you
long
dude. I'm
answer.
tired.
I
I've
ask
worked
you
all
yes
day.
or
I
no.
don't have
Hold
it that
on.
clearly
I ask you
written.
yes
Hold
or no.
I
on.
don't have
He
the
can
exact definition.
stop. He can give a yes and a qualifier. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay.
Or no,
Yeah,
whichever
yeah.
way.
I don't know the exact definition off the top of my head. I'm tired.
do.
I've been at work. I'll grant you whatever definition you want. I'll grant it, or we can look it up. Like I'm telling you,
Everybody
damage
can look
to
it up.
infrastructure,
when I come back on the storm.
people that causes financial damage or injury to infrastructure or people based on a political motive. That's what political violence is.
Okay, first, politics, and based on the attempted description of etymological meaning that you tried to give, politics comes from the Greek and the Roman meaning polis, tika.
That's what I said.
The issues of the city. The issues of the city. Okay? Simple. You went on about it
Darko
too
mentioned
long,
a guy
said
firing
and
180 rounds at the
issue.
CDC.
So
When
let's
was
be
that?
clear to the people. Politics means polis, city, tika, issues.
I don't even know about
Fine.
that.
All right. So if we define that in that sense, and the whole board agrees,
Was this year?
then political violence refers to the reaction of groups or individuals towards the problems or the issues of that city. Therefore, if we go back to the example I provided at the initial aspect, that is a form of political
I miss
violence.
Lauren's membership too. Hey guys, why don't you give some memberships?
Storming
Support the stream. Give some members. Look at all these
Congress
beautiful
because of,
folks with
you
great
did not
names.
like the election results. That is political violence.
Okay. Can I ask you a
Right,
question?
winger never gets
Counter?
an abortion.
Okay,
40%
hold on.
of Republicans.
Well, wait, just let me
Finish on that.
probe
One
for
more,
a second.
Thank you.
one more,
Oh,
and then
I
Alexander
forget what
Rim,
you
too.
say. I want
Yeah.
to probe what you just
Love
said.
that.
So if I could prove to you that abortion clinics were set up specifically in certain areas to promote the killing of a certain group,
He
thus
can't.
a
He's lying
political
about
motive,
this. He's
could
lying
I then
about. They're wrong.
characterize
They don't know what they're
political,
talking about.
and
They're
Planned
misquoting
Parenthood
her.
was set up this way for a reason. If I could prove that to you, could I then count it as
They're
political,
misquoting her, by the way.
as political violence and win the debate?
But no, because
I mean,
people are
is that
still
what you're
choosing
saying?
to do it.
It's all about motive. Is
Yeah,
that
like,
your point?
he
No,
thinks
that-
black
I'm
people are
just
so
trying to get-
stupid. They're
There
brainwashed
has
into
to be
getting
an
abortions.
ideology behind it.
Right.
You
So
can't
it's a
just-
motive.
No.
So I'm saying
no.
if the person that started Planned Parenthood
Because
in inner cities
A-
was ideologically motivated, that would be political violence.
Thank you,
by your own
Michelle.
definition.
Remember-
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Andrew, I'm going to also reiterate.
Wait,
that
wait,
Planned
wait, this is
Parenthood
very
also
important. That would
offers
then be
contraceptive
political
no
violence
idea.
by your own
Guys know
definition.
what birth control is, and it's not just simply a one thing fits for all. It's a little everything.
He does need his teeth in.
But then again, you probably haven't been to a Planned Parenthood chapter in a long time, so I
Appreciate
forgive
you
you
both,
for
though.
your ignorance, stupidity, and ignorance.
Allow me just a moment, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Jason has decided to apply the full hundo as a boot for the evening for Duck. So I'm going to allow Duck a moment. I'm just going to put you backstage for a second, Calvin. Duck, you have exactly 2 minutes to plead your case to the chat for somebody to pay for you to stay, or you can utilize the time as well for your final statements for everyone, or whatever you want to
Thank
do.
you again, Michelle. Thank you
have
again,
2
Lauren. Thank
minutes
you in
and go.
advance to anyone who wants to follow their lead and also get
Oh,
memberships or get your own.
Oh, God.
Duck, he's killing it.
Are you're muted?
You're muted, my
Yeah,
friend.
you're muted
Mama Tomato
yourself,
said I'd
by
rather
the
hear
way.
Ryan.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay,
Yes,
so
now
we're
you're
doing
good.
this.
You're good.
You're good now.
I
We're doing
got
this.
you. I'll
Okay,
take
so
care.
thanks, Sarah. Per Sarah's rules, I think someone can pitch in $49 to save me, and so that would be a really generous thing to do. One of my favorite things about these discussions is it gives us a chance to examine our own beliefs, our own biases, more than anything, our shared values. So just to make that clear abundantly. And so, I think for a lot of people out there, we should have this conversation. Andrew did a great job tonight, but he said a lot of things that are detached from reality. And a lot of people on panel brought that up. So this is one of the things I always try to do. I'm a former Catholic. Catholics, guys like us, know that you put yourself next to the situation, the scenario. And that is actually, if you don't find that valuable, if you don't find the moral fabric of society valuable, that's also how you find clarity. So you don't need to find moral clarity to find clarity. And sometimes that does help you find a moral position that's more amenable. Donald Trump and people like Andrew are a product of a white supremacist female killing rally where they chanted, the Jews will not replace us in Charlottesville. Thank you.
He's right.
Thank you, Duck. And it doesn't look like anybody is saving you this evening, so I'm going to say our lovely goodbyes to you. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. We will see you on the next round.
And
you're
Andrew,
welcome.
just to real quickly answer your point in what
Calvin's ahead of me. Fuck me.
Attempted to false equivalence the whole thing.
Let me out.
You tried to false equivalence the situation of Planned Parenthood and Singh, who had horrible positions, and Planned Parenthood came out and already said, "Hey, that's not us." To the aspect of political violence, as in regards of the actions taken by social groups, we can just
so cute. Oh, he looks so
happy. Everyone needs a happy puppy.
There's a big old pity ball.
He's so cute.
One of my dogs
Go ahead,
died 3 months ago. Yeah, 15 years. He was with me 15 years.
Aww.
His brother is now still alive, and hopefully I can last him for 20. But crossing my fingers that I do everything I can to last him for 20 years. That dog. Anyhow, point being here, see, Andrew, I'm not. I don't have ADHD. I have extremely good attentive when I speak. So to that point.
Damn, Jason cooking over there with the 99.99s.
If we look,
you guys gotta follow that lead.
At the reality of political violence, especially in the Western Hemisphere.
Look at this hiccup. He's got hiccups.
Oh, no, we see that political violence
hiccups.
Is the actions like those who are bombing abortion clinics that has an intention to create the conditions to then push forward their change.
And if I may interrupt, Red comes across the screen. I'm so sorry, but Jason has spoken on behalf of my mama. And Wyatt, you have been hit. My mama has chosen you for the full boot for the evening. You have 2 minutes to plead your case and say goodbye, whichever you so choose, from the toilet with the fire alarm system beeping.
Which is why I'm going to say my closing and leave.
I tried, Sarah. God knows I tried. I may not. All I thought was good points, bad points. Trying to keep Andrew in check doesn't mean anything. But and Ditso is the first time I've seen you on here. You did a hell of a job. You're still doing, as far as I know, you're doing okay. And as far as Alexander, I like to say, I see you guys occasionally. And I wish Ducky was still up here. We can't control things we don't have. We can't control what we control with. I'm trying to do my damnedest to make a plea so I can stay up here a little longer. But if I don't, if I'm forced out, that shit happens.
Oh, Imperious.
That's all I can do. I try to give you guys a little bit of information. I take some a little bit also, except for you, Andrew. Now go time up your tinfoil hat and get the native brain molecules get a little more justice.
That might be true.
But I say, I do what I can do, and hopefully I made my plea, Sarah. Except now it's up to everybody else.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's doing it. Jason has spoken on behalf of Mama with the big red color. But Wyatt, we appreciate you joining and offering your opinion as well. And we look forward to your next round here.
All right, Sarah. Hopefully tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And I believe Ryan wants to make his exit as well. So Ryan, we'll go ahead and give you the floor, sir, to say your goodbyes.
Thank you. I'll start by apologizing for getting very frustrated earlier. It's a personal pet peeve when people lie incessantly and don't engage with the conversation topic and deflect when people ask them like important questions and stuff. Just one fun fact before I go into my final thing here: 40% of Republicans, by the way, believe that abortion should be accessible. So according to Andrew, 40% of Republicans believe in apparently a Holocaust, I believe is the word he used. But let's just go back to his main claim of the night, which is that if political violence or the political violence is almost exclusively coming from the left, so we should not see very many far right violence or jihadist violence, for example, which would obviously not be qualified. Neither of those would be qualified as left-wing violence by any data. And so, for example, we saw the New Orleans terror attack on New Year's. A Islamic extremist drove a truck into crowds on Bourbon Street, which killed 14 people. There was a CDC anti-vax attack in Atlanta where an anti-vaccine extremist fired 180 rounds into a CDC building, killing a police officer because he believed that the jab ruined his life. There was the Michigan Mormon Church massacre where a gunman drove his truck into a Latter-day Saints church, opened fire and set it ablaze. This was a right-wing, Trump-supporting, radicalized, not in the cool way, person. Again, there was also another. I don't know if you guys even know about this. It seems like you didn't know about almost any of this, so you probably don't know that there was also a neo-Nazi Trump assassination plot where a 17-year-old killed his parents and then had a plot to assassinate Trump as well to quote unquote save the white race. I'm sure that guy was a communist or something from your perspective. There was the Pride threat where a Texas man was arrested after threatening to lock and load and massacre a Pride parade to quote unquote pay them back for taking out Charlie Kirk. Whatever that means. I don't know. The gays didn't kill Charlie Kirk. One guy who was maybe dating a trans person did. And then also, obviously, he didn't know about the Minnesota political assassinations where Melissa Hortman, her husband, and her dog, again, were shot and killed. And Senator John Hoffman was also shot. Again, Republicans have incessantly lied over and over about this guy's history. He was an anti-abortion activist. He was actually hired by Tim Walz at one point to work in the government because Tim Walz, unlike Donald Trump, which you guys Republicans can't fathom this, but Tim Walz and other Democrats, they actually work bipartisanly. So it is true that Tim Walz hired a Republican to work there. So yeah, if his claim was true, then none of these things would be, or at least maybe one of these things might have happened, and maybe his claim could be defensible. But all of these things, and I'm not even we're just scratching the surface. There are so many more we could go into. But Andrew is either not aware of any of them or doesn't care. The latter is more likely because he's a lying fucking loser. But I appreciate you, Sarah, as always, for having me. Jack Darko, nice. Ditso, Balderson, Alexander, and Calvin. It's great to see you all, and the rest of you. Whatever.
I do have to go, Sarah. Do you mind if?
What do we think? How to handle it? Oh, Fuzzy B sent a membership too. I tried to stay calm for that one. I'm going to drop my link in the chat too. It is just makes you so mad. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Fuzzy, for the gifted membership. Enjoy Screaming Beagle. Well deserved. Appreciate you all being here. Make sure you like the stream. Leave a comment. Tell me about your favorite part of the stream. I think I'm gonna end. I'm gonna go hug my girlfriend. But I appreciate you all. I learned a lot of stuff about political violence over the past year for this, and I think it's I don't know. I'm disappointed that these guys just do no prep and they just sit there and lie. Obviously, my chat's broken, so don't worry about the overlay. I'm talking to you guys. Daphne says Ryan is professional. I wasn't earlier, but I think I handled the closing fairly well. Thank you, a couple of Burks. Many hugs to all of you. I appreciate you guys. Not Law says it was Tim Walz's predecessor that hired the guy. Is that true? I thought he might have been hired by the predecessor, but I believe Tim Walz did appoint him to some position. Maybe I've just bought into the right wing propaganda because they lie so much that it's hard not to hear some of it. No more tomato fun input output. We have left the panel. Hi Tatsu. Polygraph says, sad they keep talking about this like it's no big deal. Yeah. Thank you, Zero. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate all of you. Again, thank you again, Fuzzy, Michelle, Lauren, for the gifted memberships. Thank you again to Baxter Boy, Aaron Sound, Jen, Almighty Nate. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you all for being here and chatting the regular chats. Ditso, thank you. You handled that fantastic. I think you absolutely cooked. And the way he dodged, completely deflected from your abortion thing was that just truly, I mean, an extremely revealing moment. I think it's clear to anyone who's actually paying attention what happened in that conversation. So, this is how Ditso does his magic. Anyway, all right, I love you guys. Umbreon and I, again, we're gonna go visit the lady. So, I mean, they say I take too long to talk. You do sometimes. I mean, that's true. But I think you handled this one really well. I mean, like, Andrew was also going on, like, droning on and on and on, and you were at least, like, you know, Ditso, to your credit, like, when you drone, which you do drone, you are droning on a specific point. Like, you are focused. Like you said, you're not an ADHD kid like me, right? Couple of Burke says you represented logic and passion. You did a great job, man. Thank you. I try, you know. The passion sometimes gets me a little caught up, but anyway, I appreciate you guys. Yes, I did see your DM. I am down to do that. We'll schedule sometime maybe this coming week. We can take like an afternoon or something, or I don't know. We can sit down and like, I want to hear like your full spiel. That would be fun. Oh yeah, Ditso, do you have a channel? Oh, let me see. My Buenas noches, indeed. Yeah, Ditso. If you have a I don't know if you have a YouTube channel. If you do, I keep trying to open it and it's not my browser's being weird, so I can't pop it up. But DM it to me and I will. No, okay. Talk to you later. Okay, bye guys. I'm gonna stop holding up. Let's see. I'll raid you guys somewhere. Wait, let's see. What's this last one? Dorito says, hi Ryan, I'm new to your channel. Unfortunately, I showed up late to the debate this time, but I like what you do on those crazy tomato panels. I hope to catch a full stream next time. Well, thank you, Dorito. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Seriously, it means a ton. Yeah, I really love reading that stuff. Makes my heart all warm and bubbly. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna send you guys to. Damn, surprisingly, not that many people streaming. I mean, do you guys care if I just send you back over to the Raging Tomato? I mean, we were just there, but feel free to leave if you don't want to go there. But I'm just gonna send you guys back to Sarah. Sorry to put you through that. Unless is there anyone else you guys know or who's live who you'd rather go to? I'll wait like a second. But there's also like McToon Live, who's debating the moon landing on Modern Day Debate. There's Dusty, Powder Dusty streaming. Kel is streaming, but I don't know if we're cool, so I don't want to raid over there. I would, but I don't know if we're still like fighting or whatever. So okay, I'm just sending you guys to Sarah. All love. Thank you again for sticking around, and I will see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm gonna do a walkie-talkie tomorrow morning with Umbreon, so I will see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.